Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Naruto surpassed Minato at the age of 5? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. It was night time in Konoha, though one could be forgiven if you had said it was a warm summer's day. Konohagakure no Sato, the village hidden in the leaves, was under attack. The attacker was not the army of an enemy village, the attacker was not even human. It was a blood-red fox of monstrous proportions. The fox was by all definitions a demon, and as such had a fitting title, Kyubi no Yuko. The attack left the village in flames burning so bright, creating that illusion that night was day, the heat from these flames so intense that it could be felt all throughout the village. The fox had appeared 15 weeks ago for some unknown reason. It had been roaming the countryside, apparently in search of something. Then one fell night it started on a rampage, killing all who stood in its way. The ninja of Konoha were not simply going to let this demon destroy their home. Everything that they had worked so hard to rebuild after the war with the Wagakure would be for naught if the fox penetrated their line of defense. They fought with all the power they could muster, trying everything they knew to subdue the beast, but it was not enough. The monster was powerful, outrageously so. Nothing seemed to work. They soon realized that if anyone could bring the monster down, it would be the strongest in their village, the fourth Hokage. The fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, even had his own doubts about whether he could defeat the fox. He had discussed with his wife Kushina about his plan of attack when intelligence reports came through that the fox was on a rampaging path towards Konoha. Flashback. Minato-kun, what will you do? A worried Kushina asked her beloved. There was no immediate reply. A long silence followed as he thought his answer through carefully. Kushina waited patiently, a trait most uncharacteristic of her. I'm thinking that I may have to seal it. There doesn't seem to be any other way. The response, while definite, was not without pain. The sealing process was such that it required his life. Seal? She inquired through narrowed eyes. Into what? This is the Kyubi no Yuko that we are talking about here, not the Nibi, which is sealed into an iron ball, or the Ichibi, sealed into a kettle. It will simply break free if the prison does not have a will of its own to hold it at bay. The fox is simply too powerful. While mostly curious, she was slightly suspicious. What did her husband know of sealing methods that would allow him to be able to seal the most powerful of bijou? Minato drew a long breath before answering. Kushina-chan, I must seal it into a newborn baby 3 days old at the most. It is the only way. Kushina looked at the man she loved, though this look held no love. It was the one that she reserved for her most hated enemies. It was one that spoke of knowing unforgivable atrocities were committed by the soon-to-be dead. You cannot be serious, you would be damning that child to a life of misery? She asked with a rather sharp edge to her voice, currently thinking about her unborn baby, and what would happen if that fate was thrust upon it. I have no choice. One sacrifice his or her life to save the rest. There was no anger in his voice, only regret and disappointment for the current course of action. She softened her gaze and then asked quietly, what if you and I? Minato interrupted. No, we are only mortal. There is nothing we can do. The sealing is the only method. Very well, what if aren't any babies born in the 3 days prior to the attack, then what? Seeing the apologetic look on Minato's face, a sudden wave of realization swept over her. No, you will not use our child. I will not subject our own flesh and blood to that. I'm nowhere near giving birth yet anyway. Kushina stood firm. We can induce the pregnancy. As it stands, we will be leaving behind an orphan, and I would trust no one else with such a burden. She was in shock. Orphan? What do you mean, orphan? The sealing, he hesitated lightly. The sealing will require my life. I must summon the Shinigami to consummate the sealing. She realized what he was saying. The bond that they shared was beyond the legal status of husband and wife. It was such that when one pair of the couple died, the other would die as well, so they would be united in the afterlife and the remaining person would not be left lonely. It took many days of arguing between Kushina and Minato before her resolve was finally broken, and she agreed to have the sealing performed on their unborn baby. End flashback. That brings us back to the present. The Konoha ninja were no longer trying to kill the beast, merely slow it down, waiting for the fourth Hokage to arrive. Minato was in the hospital, holding his unconscious wife's hand as their child. A healthy young boy was removed, though cesarean section. After the procedure, the genjutsu used to place her in an unconscious state was removed. allowing her to hold her child for the first and only time. She was enthralled by his little hand grasping around her finger as she nursed him. She was brought out of her reverie by a deep voice. Kushinaheim, it's time, I must go and perform the sealing before any more lives are lost. Came Minato's voice, breaking into her thoughts. Then he leant over and said in a voice so low that only she could hear, I'll see you on the other side, Minato-koi. Was Kushina's simple reply. In a streak yellow that had earned him the title of Konoha's Yellow Flash, the Yondaime Hokage had disappeared to the battlefield, knowing that his death would be the price for the victory he was about to achieve. When he got to the battlegrounds, then was a unanimous cry from the ninja that their leader had arrived, that their shining hope had come to save the day, cheering him to victory. Minato heard none of this. When he arrived he was in shock. Never had he imagined the scale of destruction he was viewing. He was a man that had killed an enemy army on his own, and yet to him this was even worse. Every sense was informing him of the tragedy that had occurred. The feeling of a blood-soaked ground squelching as he walked, the sound of dying comrades that were not granted the mercy of a swift and painless death, the smell of burning flesh, the taste of the smoke thick in the air from all of the fires, and the sight of hundreds upon hundreds of lifeless bodies, ripped into shreds, burnt, flattened by the fox's great paws, all dyed red with blood. A man that appeared much too old to be on the battlefield approached him. Minato-kun, are you sure that this is for the best? You could teach me the hand signs for the jutsu and allow me to take your place. Sarutobi, the previous Hokage, had asked. No, old man, this is my responsibility. I will not shirk from my duties as Hokage. The tone of his voice indicated a will of steel that would likely never be changed. Jiraiya-sensei, Kakashi-kun, please watch over him and if possible teach him a trick or two, he said as he addressed two men that appeared with the previous Hokage. Jiraiya, a man in his mid-40s with a flowing mane of white hair, and Kakashi, a boy in his mid-late teens with a cloth mask over the bottom half of his face and a mop of silver hair. After they both gave their solemn promise to do all that they could for the boy, Minato summoned Gambunta, the Toad Boss. Minato, if I'm not much mistaken, that's the Kyuubi. Don't tell me you seriously intend on taking on the most powerful of the Bijuu? Gambunta's deep rumbling voice was heard all throughout the battlefield. Afraid so, boss. I need you to keep him busy and me out of his reach while I make the final preparations for the sealing. Was the reply and request by Minato. I will do what I can. Was the only reply that Minato received, for Gambunta had already jumped into the fray to occupy the fox, ninjato drawn. The fox turned to be more than a tough adversary for the Toad Boss. Every time the fox was open and Gambunta had a clear shot at it, it would simply swing its tails in defense, tails said to be able to cause tsunamis and crush mountains. While there was no large body of water to test this out on, and the nearest mountain was Hokage Monument, miles away in Konoha, the widespread destruction seen in the forest trees was more than enough reason to make Gambunta try to dodge the blows instead of block. Then Minato's voice rang through the sound of battle. It's ready! Kyuubi no Yuko, I can't kill you, but I can still seal you soul. Goodbye, you pitiful creature. Shiki Fuin! He screamed. Visible to only Minato and the Kyuubi, a spectral entity appeared behind Minato, the Shinigami. It plunged its hand into the Kyuubi and tore out its soul, placing it into the stomach of the newly born Naruto, where an intricate pattern appeared on his stomach. As his last words, he spoke to Naruto. Naruto, please forgive your father for the burden I have placed on you. I'm sorry for preventing you from meeting either of your parents, but this had to be done. Goodbye, my son. The surrounding ninja couldn't see what was happening. All they knew was that the Kyuubi had disappeared. They started to rejoice, the crisis finally over. The rejoicing was brought to an abrupt end when their Hokage voice screamed out in pain. Sarutobi, Jiraiya and Kakashi all knew what was happening and tried as best they could to hold back their tears, but it was in vain. They could not, and they finally allowed their tears to freely fall down their face. Just as suddenly as the screaming had started, the screaming ended. Minato, falling off of Gambunta's head, was caught in Jiraiya's arms as the little bundle of cloth that was Naruto was caught in Kakashi's arms. Sarutobi had the responsibility of holding the crowd at bay, telling them that this was neither the time nor the place to answer all of their questions. Gambunta was able to shed a single tear before he dispelled to the summoning realm, as there was no human to anchor him to this realm. It had already been decided that Sarutobi would once again take up the reins and become the Hokage after Minato had died from the ceiling. He had clearly stated that questions could be asked later and any that were not of a classified nature would be answered. He was glad he had made that decision as he realized that overcome with grief he could hardly answer the questions that would have been asked even if he wanted to. Today is October 10th. It has been 5 years since the battle for the survival of the Hidden Leaf Village. Kill the demon! In this once place of paradise is a boy that has just turned 5. Leave me alone! I'm not a demon! The boy is said to house the fabled Kyubi no Kitsune, the nine-tailed fox demon. Get him! Being that this child was born on the same date as the sealing of the demon, today is the worst day to be outside of his small apartment. And no, leave me alone! Today is the day of the Kyubi festival celebrating the defeat of the Kyubi at the hands of the village's fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Look! The demon went into a dead end. We'll surely kill him now, said a partially drunk villager. Now facing a wall and scared beyond relief, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, he doesn't know yet, but neither do the villagers, huddles up into a ball in a corner to accept his fate. Just then out of the corner came the mob of villagers and some ninja. Looky here, the demon is trying to huddle up to keep itself from being killed. We can't have that now, can we? Said a crazily looking insane man said. Yeah, said the mob as they rushed to beat the helpless child to the brink of death. Naruto just sat there and get beaten to a bloody pulp that was getting harder and harder to recognize. What the hell do you people think you're doing? Boomed a mighty and powerful voice. The people turned around to see a man that they never wanted to see as of right now. The third Hokage, aka the professor, in his red and white robe with his hat with the kanji of fire shadow, was pretty much one of the most powerful ninja in the whole world, and he was seriously ticked off. We were just finishing off what the fourth started. Hokage-sama, said a trembling Chunin as the ki coming off the Hokage was extremely terrifying. It made the Kyubi look like a kid in comparison, glaring even harder. What you're doing is hurting an innocent child. Yelling at the end. The mob was on the ground from the lack of air due to the ki sucking all the air out of them. But he is a demon, said a villager, and just costed the whole mob their lives. Umbu! Sarutobi yelled out to nothing. A group of about 7 to 9 men and women clad in Umbu uniforms appeared out of nowhere. These Umbu weren't regular ones. Oh no. These were Sarutobi's personal guard, which means they are probably part of the top 20 of the village. The Hokage first, the Sannin second to fourth, Kakashi no Sharingan fifth, Itachi Uchiha the Uchiha prodigy being sixth, and these Umbu being seventh on. Hi Hokage-sama, take these lawbreakers to Ibiki, and say no holding back. Hi, Sarutobi acting fast picked the beaten Naruto up and shined to the hospital so fast it would have made Minato look slow. Now in a special room meant for whenever Naruto is beaten, Sasuke sets Naruto down on the bed and 2 of the Hokage's most loyal doctors came in and started to diagnose Naruto. The 2 were Ashika Moritoa and Kalaka Moritoa, both husband and wife and very good friends to Minato and Kushina before they died. They were some of the few doctors that respected Naruto for his sacrifice. Sasuke-san, it seems he is fine thanks to the Kyubi healing most of the wounds, but his mental state is at risk of a breakdown, stated Ashika. Damn those deranged villagers, cursed Sasuke, but right now he was too worried to care about the villagers right now. It's best to let him rest for now and wait for the result in the morning. In a soft and a sad tone says Kalaka, thank you both for doing all that you can for him, bowing to them both in true respect. It's our duty as medics to heal and treat, also no need to be so thankful, Sasuke-san, Ashika says with a small smile and bows with his wife, then turns to leave. Kami-sama, please help Naruto from his troubles, prays Sasuke, then he turns to leave and see to it that Naruto gets better protection. In Naruto's mindscape after he passed out, laying down on a cool and wet floor of a sewer-like area, we find Naruto waking up. What happened? Where am I? Says while looking around, seeing that he is in a dark, damp, and cold sewer. The next thing Naruto hears is a low but powerful growl coming from a passageway a couple 100 feet away. Not really caring about his well-being, Naruto walks to where the growl came from and comes across a sight that will forever change his life and his destiny. In the back of the passageway is a giant pair of prison-like bar doors with a slip of paper on the area that looks to be where the lock should be with the kanji seal on it. Two large and ferocious-looking red eyes opened beyond those gates, and from everywhere came a low and strong voice. Who dares enter my domain? Staring as if he looked dead, I have Kyubi no Kitsune. Startled, so you know who I am and that I am within you? It doesn't take an idiot to figure out that with all the beatings, insults, and also that I have whisker marks that I am the alleged container of the mighty Kyubi no Kitsune, says with an almost dead and soulless tone that even sent a shiver down the fox's spine from the lack of emotion. Well, I guess you are correct, Nijin, but also I must ask a question seeing that Naruto was listening. My question is, for what do I have the honor of for you to enter my domain? Though he didn't know it, the fox demon would regret the answer immensely. I am here because not a few minutes ago I was almost beaten to death by the villagers for having you in my body, and since they couldn't hurt you they thought by hurting me they could make you suffer as well. Still in his emotionless state, after feeling great regret from what the being has done to the poor Ningen, he comes up with a plan that will be beneficial to both parties. Hey kid, look, I may be a demon, but what those villagers have done is nothing more than worse than what I have ever done, so I propose that we strike a deal of sorts. And might I ask, are the stipulations of this alleged deal, Kyubi-sama? Starting to get his emotions back little by little, Naruto finds interest in the deal the demon has proposed. The deal composes mainly a benefit to you in general, but to me as well. I can summon 3 of the 5 elemental spirits into you, and with them you would be able to control those individual elements with nothing but ease. Being that they are the spirits themselves, they have the knowledge of all the known jutsus for their respective elements. So say if you chose fire, then every known fire jutsu will be at your disposal, so to speak, because the spirits will listen to you and will pass the information on to you while you train in their element, pausing to let the information to sink. He continues, and also over time, if new jutsu were created into the world, then the respective spirit instantly knows it and can teach it to you as well. Okay, then tell, what is the catch of gaining this power? And also what will you want in return? Naruto says, really interested now in the deal. The catch is that each spirit has their own test of sorts for you to pass for you to gain power over them. And what I want is that you allow me the ability to see, smell, and hear the outside world, since it has been so long since I have seen or smelled fresh air in the past 5 years. Stated the immense demon fox. Alright, but first tell me how I will be able to allow you those senses? All you need to do is rip at least 1/8 of the seal off of the cage, but before you react negatively, I have to say that the seal was empowered by the Shinigami himself, so it would be impossible for me to escape. Also, with the seal being ripped, you gain some more bonuses, as in increased senses, stamina, mental capacity, and reflexes, and also the ability to talk to foxes in a way like the Inuzuka clan can with dogs. Stated the demon lord. Well, it seems we have ourselves a deal, Kyubi-sama, says Naruto, only to be interrupted by Kyubi. Rei Kisaki, said the fox. What? Slightly puzzled, said Naruto. My true name is Rei Kisaki. Kyubi is just the title for my 9-tailed fox form. What do you mean by form, Rei-sama? I have a human form as well. Saying that, the demon started to change size rapidly. The demon shrunk to the size of a 5 feet 11 inches woman with a dark red kimono that hugged her figure greatly. She has luminescent silky skin that is tanned, fiery red upper back length hair with some bangs falling in front of her seemingly flawless face, with her half-dark red eyes that look to be able to pierce the soul. She has at least a borderline between C and D cup S. In all, there is only a few words Naruto could muster as he watched the transformation. Perfectly beautiful, staring wide-eyed and drinking in Rei's entire figure, and trying to rid of the onslaught of perverted thoughts which were pretty much projected on a wall of the cage, unbeknownst to Naruto, but not to Rei, as she giggled and blushed at some of the images and the compliment Naruto gave her just seconds ago. Well, Naruto-kun, in a slight seductive voice which sent a shiver through Naruto's body, and he regained his composure to listen to Rei. Before you go and think that way, maybe you should take the portion on the seal off and do your tests from the spirits before you have to wake now, in a slightly commanding tone that made Naruto move to rip the 1/8 part off. When he did so, he wasn't prepared for the rush of pain of Rei's chakra rushing into his system and into his senses. Also, it seems the water that was about knee-high in the sewer seems to be slowly lowering. Regaining his bearing from the pain, he speaks up in a weakened voice. Damn it, that ing hurt like hell. Ops, sorry Naruto-kun, I forgot about the pain that was going to come, but don't worry, your body got used to the extra chakra fast. And also, may I ask which 3 spirits you wish to have so I can do my part of the deal? Stated Rei, taking a weak thinking pose. Wind, because it sort of calls to me in a way. Fire, because both wind and fire will power each other. and water for the ability to combine with wind to create ice, and also if I combine water and fire I can create steam, which is very powerful and deadly to enemies. Naruto stated wisely. I must say you chose very wisely and also have what you could do with the elements in mind, which could benefit if you could actually create the spirit of ice in your mind, adding in the 3 it'll give you, but steam isn't actually an element, but another form of water to which you could make your own jutsu to use the steam to your advantage. Stated Ray. So in other words I could pretty much make a spirit in my own mind? Getting a nod from Ray, he continues, a light Ray-chan, I am ready. Blushes from the chan suffix, she shuts her ends and said 3 words in an ancient and hard to recognize language. In English, Aries, Ifrit, Valina. Just then 3 pillars of wind, water, and fire emerged from the ground, showing 3 beings in all their glory. Aries, spirit of wind, is a 5 feet 10 inches blonde woman that wears a pearl white kimono that allowed some hugging of her figure. She has Ino's kind of blonde hair and reaches down to her lower back in a ponytail. Emerald green eyes that show true kindness and gentleness. Her face almost rivals that of Ray's, and her S seemed to be mid-C cup. Valena, spirit of water, 5 feet 8 inches ocean blue-haired woman that wears the same kimono style as Aries, but is sky blue, almost as blue as Naruto's eyes. Her hair reaches her upper back and is let loose like Ray's hair. Her dark blue eyes are almost like the depths of the ocean, and her face is a close third with Aries in second and Ray in first of beauty. She has low C cup S. Ifrit, I do not own his name, spirit of fire, looked like a devil with horns sticking out of his head. His hellish-looking skin was bronze-colored. He wore nothing but a pair of tattered shorts that seemed to blow in an invisible wind. His whole body was that of a demon that has been bodybuilding its entire life, but also to keep a swimmer kind of body. His amethyst-colored eyes looked menacing and fear-invoking. These 3 are the spirits of wind, water, and fire. Aries, spirit of wind, Aries bows, Valina, spirit of water, Valina bows also, and then Ifrit, spirit of fire. Ifrit just stares at the boy, who still has his soulless eyes that surprise both Aries and Valina and make Ifrit raise an eyebrow. It is an honor to be summoned by you, Ray-sama. Aries and Valina bow to Ray and speak in unison. What is with that kid, Ray-sama? He looks as if he has died and yet still alive. Asks and states Ifrit. This child is my container, and as for the question, then just tap into his memories of what happened only about an hour ago. Ray states to the 3 spirits. The 3 shift through the memories of Naruto, and all 3, even Ifrit, become shocked at what has happened to Naruto all his life. Aries actually broke down crying halfway through the memories. Valina then broke down when she was down. Ifrit, on the other hand, was livid from what these so-called villagers have done to another human being, a child no less, and it was all because he housed his mistress for a crime they both didn't want to commit, from what he knows and now has seen. That's horrible. Aries sobs out. I've seen demons and great beasts do nasty things, but this is just too much for a child to go through. Valina says sadly. As you have seen from the memories, he has gone through hell, and for what happened I gave him a deal that would be beneficial to him, which involves you 3 joining into his mind and granting him your powers over your elements. Ray says sadly, as she remembers everything as well. Well, we could give him the powers, but he would have to take our tests to gain them, but from what I have seen he already has my consent, Aries says, regaining her composure. In my heart I would give him the powers without a second thought to help him with his life, but the rules state that he needs to be tested to our standards, Valina sadly announces. Alright, it is time for you to take the tests, little boy, Naruto stated the blonde. Alright Naruto, the tests are what we spirits choose of you to do that prove that you are willing to be able to control our element. Ifrit explains in a rough voice. I am ready for the challenges, Naruto bows. Good, because you will need to be for my test. Ifrit grins evilly. Alright Naruto-kun, my test needs for you to grasp your emotions, and use them right, and make your chakra move fluently as if it were water itself. Taking a deep breath to calm himself, Naruto starts to concentrate on moving his chakra through his chakra points slowly, and in control. After about 30 minutes of concentration, a blue hue appears around Naruto in a balanced manner, and his facial expression shows that he is calm. Alright, you have successfully made your chakra to move fluently as it is needed to actually do any water jutsu. I, Valina, approve of the passing of my knowledge and powers to you. On 2 of the walls in the mindscape there are 2 glowing kanji for both wind and water. Thank you for the acceptance, Valina-chan, Naruto bows in a calm tone. Now comes the true test. Ifrit smirks evilly, getting in a somewhat fighting stance and confidently says, "Bring it on," says a now wild Naruto, with pleasure. "My test is for you to beat me in a one-on-one combat match. No help." Cuts a glance at Ray or powers except just brute strength and the inner resolve to win, which is how you truly force fire to bend to your will. "Now this is what I like to hear." Naruto smirks. "Now then, if you're ready, then let's begin." Ifrit charges Naruto at blinding speeds and punches him in the gut, and then knee him in the face, sending him flying. Ugh back flips and lands weakly on feet in stance again, staring Ifrit down. "Don't tell me you're giving up so easily, you weakling, and being a weakling gets your precious loved ones dead." Naruto, after hearing that, downcasts his hair so it covers his eyes. "He thought so. You really are a weakly." Before he can finish, he gets punched in the gut hard by an enraged Naruto, making him double over. "That's for calling me weak, and this is for thinking so little of me." Cups his hands into a ball and slams them down onto Ifrit's back, sending him into the ground hard again. "Has spits some saliva and blood out now. That's what I am talking about. Turn your weakness against itself and make it your strength and push forward to win." Ifrit punches Naruto in the face, sending him into a wall, but Naruto shoots back out of the wall and starts punching Ifrit. "I will win!" Naruto starts glowing bright blue as he keeps punching Ifrit, and now his punches start to become powerful blurs, and then he cocks his arm back and punches Ifrit with all his might, sending Ifrit straight into Ray's cage, making it rattle by the force. Ray, Ares, and Velina just stared at Naruto wide-eyed and slack-jawed as Naruto just punched Ifrit, one of the strongest spirits, with the might of a full-blown demon. Naruto is just standing there with his fists still out from the punch, and he's panting hard, coughing. Ifrit manages to cough out. "Good cough job, Gaki. Cough. You pass my test. Cough. I, Ifrit, approve of the passing cough of my knowledge and power onto you, Naruto." Right after that, a third and final kanji appears on the third wall, saying fire. Naruto falls to his knees to catch his breath. "Well done, Naruto-kun. It has been almost 500 years since anyone has beaten Ifrit before, and I must say that was some power behind that punch. Kind of makes you wonder what made you think of fighting so hard to win," Ray says in a happy voice at the beginning and soft at the end. The reason where I got the power is because I wanted to protect those that I love and that are precious to me, and that is true strength, not flashy moves or monster strength, because even then those only get you so far, but protecting those that you call precious make you put your life on the line and push you past your limit to achieve victory and protect for the cause," he proudly states. Ray, Ares, and Velina smile at the explanation that Naruto gave and agree with the logic behind it, as well as the determination in Naruto's sapphire eyes. "Well, Naruto-kun, I believe it is almost time for you to go, because I believe the old man is worried sick about you." "Hi, Ray-chan, but first something that has been itching to be done." "Well, what is it, Naruto-kun?" She is interrupted by Naruto rushing over and ing her passionately on the lips, leaving Ray as red as her hair. Tastes like strawberries," he smirks and makes her blush even more as he starts to fade. "Seems he already has someone to love, Ray-sama?" Ares says with a smirk on her face, with a slight blush from seeing how passionate the was. "I do believe that the coming years will be something to look forward to, you three?" "Hi, Ray-sama," the three say in unison and fade back into their kanji as Ray touches her lips as she lays down to go to sleep, thinking about the outside the mindscape. The third Hokage has been watching Naruto for the past 20 minutes, and just saw Naruto start to sweat and pant in his sleep as if he was in a battle or something. If only he knew. Just as he was thinking what could be going on inside Naruto's dreams, he hears the boy sit up and stretch and smack his lips like last night was nothing at all. "Naruto, are you feeling alright?" "Hi, Gigi-san Ano." "What is it, Naruto-kun?" "Old man, when were you going to tell me about the Kyuubi no Kitsune inside of me?" Naruto says in an accusing tone. What do you mean, Naruto-kun?" Startled by the question, and wondering how the hell he found out. "The Kyuubi is in me, and I just so happened to have a nice long chat with her." "What do you wait? Her?" "Yes, the Kyuubi is a female, and also might I ask you three vacate the area so me and the old man can talk." The three in the room were surprised to be found out, and by a 5-year-old no less. "Leave us," commanded Sasuke. "Hi, Hokage-sama." They then vanish. "Now what have you and the Kyuubi been talking about?" The third said, taking a seat after putting up a sound seal over the room where we left off. "Now what have you and the Kyuubi been talking about?" The third said, taking a seat after putting up a sound seal over the room. Naruto goes into great detail into what had happened inside his mind. The third had to pull out some sake and his pipe when it came to the part of the deal. I am getting too old for this shit, thought the third. Alright, now tell me what this deal, and tell me everything because I want to know how this will affect the seal and your well-being. Okay, Aji-san. Well, the deal was, the blonde starts talking about the deal to the third. Flashback begins. The deal composes mainly a benefit to you in general but to me as well. I can summon 3 of the 5 elemental spirits into you, and with them you would be able to control those individual elements with nothing but ease. Being that they are the spirits themselves, they have the knowledge of all the known jutsus for their respective elements. So say if you chose fire, then every known fire jutsu will be at your disposal, so to speak, because the spirits will listen to you and will pass the information on to you while you train in their element, pausing to let the information to sink. He continues, and also over time, if new jutsu were created into the world, then the respective spirit instantly knows it and can teach it to you as well. Okay, then tell what is the catch of gaining this power, and also what will you want in return? Naruto says, really interested now in the deal. The catch is that each spirit has their own test of sorts for you to pass for you to gain power over them. And what I want is that you allow me the ability to see, smell, and hear the outside world, since it has been so long since I have seen or smelled fresh air in the past 5 years. Stated the immense demon fox. Alright, but first tell me how I will be able to allow you those senses? All you need to do is rip at least 1/8 of the seal off of the cage, but before you react negatively, I have to say that the seal was empowered by the Shinigami himself, so it would be impossible for me to escape. Also, with the seal being ripped, you gain some more bonuses, as in increased senses, stamina, mental capacity, and reflexes, and also the ability to talk to foxes in a way like the Inuzuka clan can with dogs. Stated the Demon Lord. Flashback end. And that's how it went, Aji-san. I get 3 spirit elementals to help me control certain elements with enhanced senses, while Rei-chan gets the ability to see, hear, and other senses that were taken by the 4th. Well, it appears to be without trickery, but also might I have a look at the seal to be in case? Getting a nod, he lifts up Naruto's tattered shirt and channels some chakra into his navel, showing the seal in all its glory. It seems to be intact, so nothing bad will happen. Ano, Aji-san? Hi, Naruto-kun. Would you mind if I were to start training to become a ninja now and learn to control my new powers? I will allow it, but you must report every month. I shall be getting a report to my office, and then at the end of a year you will take a series of tests for equivalence exam to see how your abilities have grown. Stated the third in a slight serious tone, getting a nod from Naruto. Naruto-kun? Rei-chan? Ah, good, the mental link worked, so now we can speak to each other without you having to go to sleep or be out cold. Stated Rei. Oh, okay, but is there something you want? I am talking to Aji-san right now about starting my training. Maybe you should ask the old man for a technique called Kage-bushin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique. It's quite similar to any other bushin jutsu. The biggest difference is that these bushins are solid and can almost be considered their own person because of the flexibility of choice they have. That reason being that Kage-bushins are summoned using a piece of the user's own soul, and when used during training it retains all the knowledge it previously withheld, and the original will get the knowledge once the Kage-bushin has dispelled. So in other words, it will be able to increase my learning capabilities and allow me to train in multiple aspects at the same time? Hi, Naruto-kun. Naruto? Naruto-kun, hello? Oh, sorry, Aji-san. I was just talking to Rei-chan through a mental link, said the blonde while sheepishly scratching the back of his head. Let me guess, she put it up after you ripped that part off. Getting a nod from the blonde. Also, she mentioned a jutsu by the name of Kage-bushin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique, that I should learn so I can train faster. I don't think you should be used that jutsu, Naruto-kun. It is a rank kinjutsu, and not even the best Anbu can use it without diminishing their chakra supply after 10 to 15 clones. Remember, Aji-san, that I am no normal human being, and that thanks to Rei-chan I can probably use the jutsu to its maximum potential without doing anything bad in return. Countered Naruto. You have a good point, Naruto-kun, but if anything goes wrong I will be assigning a special Anbu to watch over you in case something happens to the seal. Alright, and also Aji-san, I have a proposition for you that you would probably give up anything to get the info I have for. A devious smile crosses his face. And this proposition is? Getting suspicious of the sudden devious smile on the blonde demon holder. I would like books and scrolls on sealing, taijutsu, genjutsu, chakra control, kenjutsu, weapon forging, chakra sensing, anatomy, and maybe some metals so I can start forging. That's a lot to ask for, and what do you think you can give me that will allow me to hand you all those books? asking questioningly. Only the answer to Akage's worst enemy paperwork. Smirks deviously as the third's eyes go wide and chuckles when the third gets down on his knees to beg for the answer. Oh please! Give me the answer so I can get rid of that death on a piece of paper. The third pleads to Naruto. What was I asking for after I spoke with Ray-chan, Aji-san? Shadow clone jutsu. His eyes go as wide as dinner plates, and he starts slamming his head against a wall repeating stupid. Stupid. Stupid over and over again until the wall started cracking under the pressure. You see, Aji-san, even the most deadliest of jutsu can save a life, laughs out Naruto. Oh thank God I'm rid of that damnable paperwork. Sarutobi yelled out victoriously. Now about those things I asked for, Aji-san? I will get them and hand them to the Umbu that will be the one to get the report scroll from you. Now if you excuse me, I will be off to finally defeat my mortal enemy. The third's eyes looked evil and malicious with the image of him on top of a mountain of paper that are all signed and done, and him dancing like a man and with fire is in the background. Alright Aji-san, I will be able to leave soon, right? Ashika and her husband will sign you out as soon as I leave. Naruto-kun. He leaves after hearing Naruto say hi Aji-san. The next day, Naruto wakes up at 6 a.m. sharp like he always does and starts to do his morning ritual of stretches, shower, ramen with some veggies and fruit, and then some reading. All through the night Ray was giving Naruto a data dump which included history of the village and shinobi world, basics on chakra, math, science, geography, and a lot more information on all the other 9 bijou, the known bloodlines of the world that Ray know of, and much more stuff that Academy lecture you about. While Ray was doing that, Naruto was talking to all 3 of the summons, asking them questions about their lifetimes, and such to learn more about them. Ares was a maiden back in ancient times that had a heart and soul as gentle and kind as the wind, but at the same time was as dangerous as a hurricane when angry, which scared Naruto and Ifrit. She was from the Wind Country before it had turned into the desert it is today. What she told Naruto is that the Wind Country was actually all nature and forests before the Ichibi came and decimated the whole place with its power over sand. Valina was a princess that always was near the water when she was growing up and was given the nickname Princess of the Eternal Blue for her hair and eyes looking like the ocean. She was well respected when she was alive for being fair to everyone and also sparing those that have been falsely accused when they have been proven guilty in court. She drowned one day when she tripped and fell off a cliff into the ocean to be sucked away by the tide and current, and then made into the water spirit for her ability to always stay calm and balanced like the water. Now Ifrit was the most surprising, as he was a samurai that was casted into hell after he defeated a great demon. He wandered hell for hundreds to thousands of years, defeating any demon that crossed his path until he was cursed by a high-ranked devil and turned into a demon himself. In the living he was a calm and gentle man, but when enraged he turned into a man of legend that was called Demon of the West. He said that once he killed a whole army with his sword style called Hiten Mitsurajiryu. I do not own and know he is not Kenshin or his master but an ancient user of the style, and also if this makes people think I am making a god like Naruto, then you're wrong, because Naruto, if allowed to learn, must only use this style to protect and not to brag about, like Ifrit did in his human lifetime, that was said to attack with ultrasonic sword attacks and use very powerful kenjutsu attacks. When Naruto asked if he could learn it, he was told that if he could prove himself worthy of learning the style he would teach him. That gave Naruto the hope to being the first to ever use the style since ancient times, and so he promising Ifrit that he will push himself until he is worthy. Naruto runs straight to the Hokage tower, not even caring about the sneers and looks from the villagers. He went in and asked the assistant, who was the beautiful Chunin Enko Midarashi, who was like an older sister to him, just like Ayam-chan from Ichiraku Ramen. Enko let Naruto in since the third was cleared for a bit. When Naruto entered the office, there were 4 third Hokages rushing around working on paperwork, while another one is sitting on the couch reading a orange-covered book while letting out a perverted giggle every couple of seconds. Ero Aji-san, morning Aji-san. He yells from the door, startling all the clones and the real third Hokage a bit. Oh, good morning, Naruto-kun greeted the old man while making the book disappear. You pervert, the blonde accused. I am not a pervert, I just think the plot is interesting with Jasmine and Belina being in a 3-ahem. I mean, it has a good plot, that's all, the old man states while blushing and looking away, whistling innocently. Ero Aji-san deadpanned Naruto. Ahem, right, I guess you came here to meet the Umbu who will be with you, I assume? Getting a nod from the blonde before I forget, here is a scroll for the Kagebushin that I promised you, Naruto-kun, he says, handing Naruto a small scroll. Arigato, Aji-san, and also I see you are using my idea very well, and also I might have to remember to use Kagebushin when I turn into a Hokage one day. You're welcome, Naruto-kun, and yes, I am proud of your idea. Ano, what do you mean, Naruto-kun? Is it your dream to be the Hokage? Hi! I want to be the best there ever was and will be. The blonde shouts in a very happy and joyful tone that makes the third smile at the boy's actions. Alright, Naruto-kun, I would like you to meet Yamato. A bare-masked Umbu appeared and the usual Umbu attire. Bear, your mission is to be the relayer between me and Naruto-kun, understood? And don't worry about your Umbu post-ion because you will only be receiving and sending things once a month until Naruto is strong enough to do it on his own, so your Umbu missions are still being done. Yamato takes off his bare mask and bows to the third, saying, Hi Hokage-sama. Nice to meet you, Yamato-san. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. The blonde holds out his hand to be shaked, and after a couple seconds Yamato shakes his hand. It's a pleasure meeting you too, Naruto-san. Alright, you two are dismissed, and make sure to become real strong, Naruto. I don't want to hold this title for much longer, and have to wait for you. Don't worry, Aji-san, you won't be holding it long, as I will be the best after all this is over. Alright, since you will be training for some years, I suggest a place where no one would disturb you, Naruto-kun. I have the perfect place in mind, since only the complete insane go there. It should never be touched. Where is this perfect place, Naruto-kun? Asked the third, as Yamato would like to know as well. Oh, you know of it, Aji-san, since it is Anko-chan's favorite playground. The blonde smirks. Both of the men's eyes widen when they heard this, and Anko only plays at one training ground, and that's Training Ground 44, or otherwise known as the Forest of Death. Are you sure about that, Naruto-kun? Asked the third, worried for the blonde who was like a grandson to him. Hi, Aji-san, and remember, Anko-chan and me go in there every once in a while, so I know a perfect place to train without the worries of the beasts and creatures in the forest. Reassured Naruto. Well, alright, but please remain alive, Naruto-kun, said the third, still worried about the idea of going into the Forest of Death. I will, Aji-san, the boy says as him and Yamato leave to go get supplies for the training. In the Higurashi weapons store, Tenten's store. Okay, first we need to get you some ninja gear for you to wear. Then some kunai, shuriken, senbon, and other necessities needed for all that you will be learning. As well as the abundance of scrap, fine, and high-quality metal needed for your weapon forge training. Also might as well get a chakra affinity paper to see what affinity or affinities you have. After some looking around, Naruto picked out a couple pairs of fishnet shirts, some black shirts, and some baggy forest green pants with extra pockets. He got a pair of bracers and ankle bracers that are chakra weights that when put into the weights increase. A forest green vest that is also weighed. A pair of steel-toed black boots and a couple pairs of black and red fingerless gloves. He also got a few boxes of each shuriken, kunai, senbon, and throwing knives. The metal was inside 3 different scrolls and was said to be carrying at least 100 kilograms of scrap metal, 75 kilograms of fine, and 50 kilograms of high quality. And as Yamato said, he got a chakra affinity paper. When all this was rung up, it was an astounding 100,500 rai. Naruto knew that over the years he had saved up at least 80,000 from the usual monthly stipend from the old man. He was going to pay as much as he could, but Yamato said there was no need, as the third thought of the cost being high, so he gave Naruto a voucher that would put the bill on the Hokage, and later on Naruto could pay it off, which was okay with him. With all his stuff, he changed out of his rags he had on and put on a pair of his clothes and felt his mobility increase thanks to the pants and the shirt. After changing, the two left the store with the voucher and headed to a food store to buy some food. After the food store. Alright, I believe this is everything that you will need for the training, and when you need anything just ask me and I will go get it for you. Alright, Naruto-kun. Hi, Yamato-san. After a few hours of walking, the infamous Training Grounds 44, or known as the Forest of Death. This place is several kilometers in diameter, and is perfectly circular. Inside this forest are beasts that make the 9 Bijou look like nothing in sight, but not power, of course. Every week Naruto and Anko Mitarashi would come here and play hide and seek and other games till the end of the day. He practically knew this forest like the back of his hand. The two entered the forest into the most harmless part of the forest, and found a cavern that has a small hut in it made by Naruto and Anko in case they stayed out in the forest for the night. When Naruto saw the hut, he smiled. When Yamato asked why he was smiling, he got a surprising answer that the hut is under a high-ranked genjutsu, and that only him and Anko could dispel it. When the two entered the hut, Yamato was greeted by a slack jaw and eye-widening sight. The hut was actually a 2-story house that upon further inspection had a full kitchen, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a den, and other house items. When Naruto was asked how this place is here, he said, "Me and Anko-chan built it, so technically this is both me and her winter home. Alright Naruto, I am going to go inform Anko-san of you using this home for the years. So while I am gone, you should get that shadow clone jutsu down so you can begin your training." With a nod from the said blonde, Yamato leaves via Shinshan. After about 3 hours of training, I finally have the jutsu down, and from my final count I made around 500 before I felt woozy. Okay, now I want you to rest, Naruto-kun, so Ifrit, Valina, and Ares plus myself can give you another data dump. And also I get to be with you for a night, Ray-chan. And with that, Naruto went to sleep to be with Ray while all the spirits began dumping information on all the level E and D ranked jutsu they all knew, even some that only Ray knew. After the data dump, the members of the Mindscape chatted and talked until it was time for Naruto to wake up and begin his long training regiment. 5 a.m. in the morning, Naruto wakes up and goes and does his usual morning ritual. But instead of ramen, he has eggs, sausage, toast with some milk. After he was all set, he went into his room and created about 10 clones to read. 1 clone to read the basics of sealing by Jiraiya of the Sannin, 1 to read up on some taijutsu styles for Naruto to study, 1 to genjutsu to learn to cancel and maybe create some genjutsu on his enemies, 3 clones to read the 3 basic books and scrolls on chakra control, 1 scroll on kenjutsu just to look up a starting style in case he proves worthy for Ifrit's training in the Hiten Mitsuru Jiraiya style, 1 on weapon forging so he can create some real weapons out of the metal he bought, 1 on chakra sensing, and 1 on anatomy because for him to understand the human body to the extent where he can hit a certain spot on an enemy that person is either paralyzed or dead instantly. While the clones read the books and the real Naruto was making up a training schedule for this month cause he shouldn't make a yearly one cause so many things could happen to make him change things around. 2 days of reading and rereading over the books later. Outside the cave is where we find Naruto training. After finding out that he is strong in wind affinity, with lesser in fire and water affinities, he had these before the spirits, but when they entered his body he got very strong wind, and strong fire and water. Naruto made at least 1100 clones to start off. 200 were to work on the basic chakra control exercises, 100 to work on the basic seals he learned, 100 to work on accuracy while using another 100 clones as targets while they tried to dodge for reflex and awareness training, 100 more which were broken down into 2 groups of half were holding either a rusty kodachi or a rusty katana that Naruto had gotten for training purposes in kenjutsu, 100 were working on some scrap metal to create some makeshift senbon, kunai, shuriken, and throwing knives, 100 more were working on chakra sensing, 75 were working on an old offensive martial arts style called taekwondo, while 75 were doing a defensive style called aikido, 50 were working on genjutsu, and the last remaining were working on all the E and D class jutsus that he knows from the data dumps. The real Naruto is doing strength and speed training by doing push-ups, sit-ups, running miles, log punches, log kicks, and chin-ups, and doing all this with at least 5 pounds of weight from each of his wrist and ankle bracers and about 15 from his vest. He also was using a nearby river for swimming laps to help with his endurance training. This is how his full year would be, with him trying to master all the basics to an extent where he could do them in his sleep. Naruto had mastered all the basics of sealing, so now he had all his scrolls enforced with a blood seal. Just in case, he had a stash of empty and clean scrolls for special cases. He even has a large stash of explosive tags, flash tags, etc., pretty much any basic tag that was written down by Jiraiya. And with Yamato coming to get the report every month on how he is, Naruto would hand him the report with at least 4 stacks of 200 explosion tags, 100 flash tags, and the remaining 100 are other tags each to be sold, and the money sent to the third to pay off all his debts and to buy food and supplies. Naruto even buffed up the tags to make them even more powerful and cause brighter flashes. When all his debt was paid off, he would ask Yamato to open up a money account under an alias of Sagara Sanosuke, using this Rurouni Kenshin name as the alias, and I do not own, to secure the money for a rainy day. While Naruto was at it, he applied a blood seal on the door to the house, set up high-level trap seals inside the cave and at the cave entrance, all connected to chakra sensor seals and chakra and blood analyzer seals, so only people that have certain chakra and blood can enter the cave. So far the only people that are allowed are Yamato, Anko, him, and the third Hokage, being that only these four either know about the house or know that Naruto is using the house as a living arrangement for all the time of his training. Naruto had toned down and gained some muscle on his arms, legs, abs, pecs, and other body parts. He lost all the baby fat on his face, and grew his hair out to his shoulders, and the back is in a small ponytail. He is standing at 3 feet 10 inches. When he started he was about 3 feet 7 inches, and still wearing the clothes he got from the shinobi store. He is built like a swimmer for faster reflexes and to not bulk up too much. Thanks to the river being nearby, he does about 200 laps and also 20 to 30 laps with the help of the water jutsu clones to make the water harder to navigate, and make it more rewarding to his training. His weights are now at 125 per limb and 150 on his chest. He was thinking of getting a gravity seal on but decided against it until he got his limbs to at least 200 pounds and his chest to 250, be able to move fast with it, then apply the seal. The blonde successfully made a high-quality kodachi, some high-quality throwing knives, kunai, saban, and shuriken. Along with them he made some fine quality, so in case he is in battle he can sacrifice them instead of his high-quality ones. He even made a pair of trench knives that can draw on his wind chakra to make them really sharp and increase their range, and the kodachi can do the same. Right now he is working on refining the scrap metal and removing its impurities and to turn it into fine or high-quality metal. If he can master this, then he can make almost any kind of weapon from either scrap, fine, or high-quality metal. His chakra control shot up a lot but is still not good enough for higher ranked jutsu cause he will waste too much chakra on them. So far the blonde mastered push a ball with chakra, leaf levitation over palm, and several other basic exercises in the year. He even created his own exercises like attaching a chakra string to a lead ball that weighs 10 pounds with a weight seal on it, and keep the ball up off the ground for as long as he can while trying to make the chakra string invisible to naked eye, as well as make the ball roll up and down like a yo-yo. Over time, when he mastered it at a certain weight, he would increase the weight seal on it up by 5 to 10 each time until now where he is at almost 135 pounds. If you were to put his chakra control into the ranking system, he would be at least low chunin. Once he gets tree walking and water walking, his control will jump even more. His chakra sensing skills shot up as he can now sense up to 200 meters before it starts to get hazy. The point of chakra sensing is that if you're in a real dark area and you have no idea where the enemy is, you use what is called a chakra pulse. As it says, it sends out a very small wave of chakra that bounces off of any source that wields chakra and relays it back to the user. This ability helps ninja to infiltration, sabotage, and assassination missions. Naruto's kenjutsu skills are really good to the point where once he obtains an acceptable katana he can do real techniques with the blade. With the kodachi for now he is working on a basic offensive/defensive art that uses the kodachi's shorter length to its fullest for both. The kodachi is about 100 centimeters in length with 12 centimeters for the handle, handguard, and pommel, and the remaining length being the blade itself. The handle is all black with solid black fine, hard leather wrapped around it. His reflexes have gone up as well as his accuracy. He can aim and hit a bullseye from 100 feet away before the projectile starts to lose power and speed. Also with the anatomy book, Naruto can almost get a moving target down within 50 feet in one of the 8 major parts of the body: liver, lungs, spine, jugular vein, carotid artery, brain, kidneys, heart. Also now he can dodge projectiles that come from several directions and make it out of the barrage with only a few cuts and scratches, but he will need to keep improving so he can start with dodging multiple blades and hand-to-hand combat with Yamato and the Hokage. In the ninjutsu aspect, so far Naruto has all the E and D ranked elemental jutsus down, and even has most of them down to where he can use them without hand seals. He will keep working on them till he can use them all without needing the seals, and also figure out how to increase the power of them without increasing the chakra needed. Thanks to Rei and her knowledge of demons, Naruto even knows some E and D ranked onip or demon art jutsus that are all involving his 3 affinities, which are pretty much the equivalent to B and a human jutsu in raw power and destruction. Ray says that if Naruto were to become half demon, then he would be able to do more of the jutsu without the worry of backfiring or using too much chakra. Naruto's genjutsu skills are still lacking, but when he gets his other abilities to even higher standards, he will put more on this subject. But for now, he can disable and create most E and D rank genjutsu. He won't start any Onippo genjutsu until he can successfully do C ranked and up human genjutsu cause of the intense concentration he will need for the Onippo genjutsu to work to their fullest. Once Naruto could create more clones, he made 50 more clone to go join the taijutsu clones, making them study and practice 100 even for both styles. Naruto has almost mastered both styles, and he made an extra 100 to start making katas and trying to combine the two martial art styles into one. If he can do this and master it, then he will have a style of his own that he made by himself and his family in the future. Naruto didn't really think of this field at all because of his healing capabilities, but once Ray told Naruto about the benefits of knowing how to do medical ninjutsu, then he can heal and save his precious people and loved ones from being hurt in battle or anything else. With Ray giving Naruto a data dump of all the basics for medical ninjutsu, Naruto is learning the basics with the use of 100 clones. Over time, he learns that with the help of learning how to use medical ninjutsu comes with knowing which herbs are used to make antidotes to poisons of all calibers. With the thought of poisoning the enemy in his mind, Naruto even starts learning herbology and gets a lab set up so he can start making some poisons of his own with the help of Anko-chan, of course, to increase his already wide base of attacks even further. Naruto was even asked to take up a couple of special missions from the third, which made him try to infiltrate the Umbu headquarters to both build up his stealth capabilities and also point out flaws in the security of the HQs. He was asked this because the third knows about how Naruto navigates the streets without his guard Umbu knowing where he goes, and for the Umbu to not know where a 5-year-old is a very bad thing, cause what if an enemy ninja of a high stealth capability were to infiltrate the village? Then the Umbu wouldn't know of the event, and bad things will happen to the village. And you know who and what I mean. Kabuto with his info cards ***. All in all, with the yearly exams, Naruto would be set down as this. Naruto Uzumaki, age 6, male, birthday October 10th, blood type B, skills, ceiling equals low to mid chunin. He is learning at his own pace on this field, and over time, if he can get to meet Jiraiya of the Sannin to talk about seals, then he will be able to get better notes on some of the seals so he can make them stronger and better, and also create a few trap seals while he was at it. Stealth equals low to mid jonin. The more he does those special missions and warn of the flaws of the Umbu HQ, then the security will be getting tighter and tighter, which will benefit his growth in this field and also benefit the safety of the village. Reflexes equals low to mid chunin. Speed equals mid to high chunin. Strength equals mid to high chunin. Once he puts that gravity seal on, these three fields will rise a lot faster, referring to the three above this. Chakra control equals low to mid chunin. It's at this level due to all his chakra and that it keep increasing a lot, and so his control was really sucky at the beginning and had to work from the ground up. Chakra sensing equals mid to high chunin. Kenjutsu equals high chunin to low chunin. Once he gets a katana that will be able to survive the Hiten Misurujiryu style, then he will grow faster in this field. Ninjutsu equals low to mid chunin. Once he gets all the E and D ranked jutsus down to no seals and starts on C ranked jutsu, then he will become high chunin to low jonin. Jinjutsu equals mid to high jonin. As I said before, once he gets most of his ninjutsu down to no seals, then he will add more clones to work in this field. Taijutsu equals low to mid chunin. Once he masters the two martial arts to where he enters katas flawlessly, and does it in a fluent motion, then combine them and master it, then he will jump in this field as well. Weapon forging / repairing equals journeyman bordering expert. Once he gets more notes on this field, he will have to improve on his own, but once he gets notes from a nearby master, or a grand master like the ones in Mist, then he will be able to create even better trench knives, kodachi. And maybe if he can get the materials, a katana that is made from the same rare ore that made all the blades that made the 7 swordsmen of the Mist legendary. Also, the ranking system for this field is as goes in equivalence to ninja ranks. Apprentice equals genin, journeyman equals chunin, expert equals jonin, artisan equals umbu, master equals sannin, and grand master equals kage. Intelligence, strategist and tactician, equals close to the capabilities of Shikamaru Nara. I am using the Naros as a ranking system cause hell everyone knows of their intelligence and IQ being over 200 and can make up several if not 100 plans in little time, and I am not kidding about that IQ part. Medical Jutsu, don't know its official name, equals Hygen into Lochunin. Since most doctors hate Naruto except for Ashika and his wife, they are the only ones that teach a clone of Naruto's at the hospital while it is under a henge. Poison creation / concocting equals Hygen into Lochunin. This field went up fast thanks to the help of Anko and her snakes, plus the fact that Anko and Poison are always seen together. Shivers at the thought of Anko in the interrogation rooms. Chakra capacity equals Hyjon into Loambu. Just think that when he started out he was already mid-chunin and close to high-chunin due to him having Rei in him, and also for ripping that January 8th piece of the seal off gave him a lot more Yuki, or demon chakra. And also since Ambu are very powerful, they are placed in the ranking system under Kage and Sanin since they are more powerful than Ambu. Survival skills equals mid to high chunin. It takes a lot of skills to survive out in the forest of death, even in that house, cause after he gets to the house the only food he will have is the food he bought prior to starting training. Every time he gets into the village for a mission, which isn't often, and the wildlife in the forest itself. Also, he has been living on his own for 2 years of his life, and the constant beatings make him have to live out in the wilderness for at least a week before coming home to his destroyed apartment. Missions: S rank 0. Soon the infiltration missions will get to this level, but not until next year. A rank 6. The infiltration missions. B rank 0. C rank 0. D rank 36. He also had clones go and do these missions to raise more money, even though the probably was rich already, but also made a second account under an alias of Kenshin Himura. Yeah, I know it's Kenshin's name, and all I am doing is using it as an alias for the bank account, nothing more, I swear. And also I do not own Nobuhiro Watsuki. Does just to prove my point to you people, so he could have a ninja account and a civilian account. Ninja for missions and supply money on the spot for it, and civilian for his family when he considers starting one in the coming decades. In the Hokage's office the morning after the exams, here we see both Naruto and the third Hokage sitting in his office going over all the exams and what level that Naruto was at in them. Just finishing reading off all his missions we come to at when the two grandfather and grandson start talking about the results. Well, Naruto-kun, your training has really worked out, and if you continue on from now you might actually become the strongest person in the world before you even reach, that is for Genin to graduate," said the third, looking over Naruto's new file that is kept secret from everyone but the Hokage's eyes. "Hi Aji-san, I am glad I started doing this, cause if I didn't I wouldn't be able to protect my precious people and loved ones like you, Rei-chan, old man Tuchi, and I am Chan," happily said Naruto. "That you do, Naruto-kun, and from looking at these file you might be the Gondame Hokage just yet," Sarutobi says with a wide smile on his face. "I won't let you down, Aji-san," chirped Naruto. "I believe I should give them to him since he's worked so hard to achieve where he is at now," thought Sarutobi. "Ano, Naruto-kun? Hi Aji-san. I think it is time I told you about your parents." Sarutobi spoke softly and Naruto's eyes went wide from hearing this. "Where we left off." "Ano, Naruto-kun? Hi Aji-san. I think it is time I told you about your parents." Sarutobi spoke softly and Naruto's eyes go wide from hearing this. Picking up from there. What do you mean about my parents?" Naruto stuttered for the first time in a long time. "What I mean is that you are strong enough to know about your parents, Naruto-kun." With that the third walks over to the fourth's portrait and removes it, and waves his hand with some chakra on it, making a blood seal appear. Sarutobi bit his thumb and smeared his blood over the seal, and a poof came from the seal, disappearing, revealing a safe. Sarutobi put in the code for the safe, and next a click was heard, and the third opened the safe to reveal some scrolls. Taking the scrolls and walking back over to his desk, he sets the scrolls out in front of him so Naruto can see them. "Alright Naruto, here are your family scrolls with some letters from your parents, and might I suggest you read the one from your father before the one from your mother, cause I believe hers will calm you down in case something happens," Sarutobi said as he handed Naruto a scroll with the advanced blood seal on it, and with a bite of his thumb, and smearing the blood on the scroll, Naruto started to read something that will forever change him. "Dear Naruto, hey there son, I am sorry I am not there to be with you son, but as fate likes to be a total bitch I can't. You see the Kyuubi is coming to destroy the village, but what I do not get is the simple question of why. Usually the Kyuubi is a fairly peaceful creature that doesn't worry over the human race, but for it to go on a rampage, and to target a ninja village that has been at peace and guarding its forest from destruction is something I cannot comprehend at all. But I am just getting off topic here. I am sorry to tell you this, son, but I am your father, Yandame Hokage, Konoha's Yellow Flash, Minato Namikaze. I know that it's a lot to take in, but if you are reading this, then you should know about the Kyuubi being inside of you. That is my greatest regret, with the second being that your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, or better known as Konoha's Red Angel of Death, died giving birth to you. She was a woman with beautiful red hair that went to her shoulders, and she wore clothes that always had orange and red on it. He smiles sadly, knowing that he got his desire to wear orange from his mother. She was beautiful yet dangerous at the same time, and if angered, then you will not see light the next day, which almost happened to your godfather, Jiraiya Sensei, who was my sensei while I was growing up. Naruto was shocked to hear that his godfather was also the writer of the sealing books that he had been studying for the past year. Now he really wanted to meet him and talk to him about seals and also his parents. Also, now don't go and tell yourself that it is your fault she is dead, because it wasn't, but instead it was the stress from the Kyuubi attack and also a weakened heart from an illness that caused you to be born prematurely 1 month early, causing her death from heart problems. Now before you go and curse my name to hell and back, I must tell you that as I was Hokage, I couldn't ask any of the people to willingly give up one of their children, so I was only left with using you as the vessel's son. Damn the phrase of help the many over those of the few, that ing logic gave me no other choice. Also, before you go off on Sarutobi-dano about why he was reluctant to give you this letter, I will tell you the reason as of why you weren't told of your heritage. If you already know, then you know that Iwa and Kumo both hated me to the extent that if my name was even mentioned they would kill the person in an instant, as if she performed treason. So imagine if your name would have got out to be the fourth son? Iwa and Kumo would be on your ass faster than even when I use Hiroshin, and trust me, that's fast. But also thanks to my bloodline, and yes, you have a bloodline, and you may have a second one thanks to your mother. But anyway, thanks to my clan's bloodline, we were targeted for our power of teleporting from one point to another with the use of a special kunai that had rights on it. I am sorry, my son Teardrop Stain, I wish I could be there when you grew up and became a great ninja and legend. But as I write this, the Kyuubi is almost to the gates, and I need to go out and meet it. Now with this letter there is 3 other scrolls. One contains several bank statements and slips that go to both our clan account and my secret account under the name of Erasure Kazama. The next scroll is my clan scroll, and within some seals on that scroll you will get my notes on 2 of my most famous jutsus that made me and our bloodline truly famous when working together, Rasengan and Hiroshin. Also there are notes on adding elemental chakra into Rasengan, and if you do that, then you will be the only person to pass me in something. When that was read, Naruto found new determination to make his father even more proud by infusing the Rasengan with his elements, and be known to outdo his father in something that was said to be impossible. And the last one is the keys and instructions to get to our home on the Hokage Mountain. I am so sorry, my son. Just remember that me and your mother loved you and will always love you. Your father, Minato Namikaze. P.S. We will be waiting to hear about your legacy, son, so make up proud and become the next one to take up the title of the Yellow Flash, since you are the last of your clan, being that after the war everyone except me died off. Tears were slowly falling down Naruto's face as he finished reading the scroll. He had set the scroll down back on the desk, and then he started crying a lot as he was thinking, they actually loved me, my parents actually loved me, the blonde thought happily. The third instantly went to comfort his somewhat grandson and get him to calm down, but once he started to hug him, he heard something from the blonde-haired boy that made him at peace, that he wasn't mad at his father. Father, I will take on your legacy and revive our clan. I will be the next Yellow Flash, but not just that. The blonde paused as he got his bearing. I will be more than that. I will make my legacy and be known as Konoha's Elemental Flash Fox. To make both you and mother proud of your son, chirped a crying Naruto. That you will, Naruto-kun, and let me say the name suits you in a way due to the spirits and Raisen inside of you, said a happy third Hokage to see the old Naruto back. And that is the reason I made up the name Aji-san. Now I need to read my mother's scroll to see what she had to say before she passed away, said Naruto happily at the beginning but sad at the end. The third nodded and went back to his seat after giving Naruto another hug to tell him that he will be there for him if needed be. Then Naruto opened up his mother's scroll and started reading it. Dear Naruchan, his eyes well up again from the name she gave him. If you are reading this, then more likely than you know about the Kyuubi, me and your father from his scroll. As you may know, my name is Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, or as my title goes, Konoha's Red Angel of Death. I am an orphan of Whirlpool Country after it was destroyed during the Third Great Ninja War. I am sorry that we aren't there with you, our son, but if it has to come down to this, then I will accept it, but I won't go down without a fight. He finally realizes where he got his will to press on, even if it is a lost cause, and he felt proud of it coming from his mother. And just to warn you, it is my fault that you get addicted to red and orange. The blonde laughed when he read that, and when he told the third, the old man started mumbling things like damnable traits passing down to children, and so that's where he got his love for orange and red from. Now, my little Naruchan, I want you to know that I love you and your father loves you. We planned almost everything for your birth, but alas, so did Kami-sama. We had waited 8 months and your father almost didn't make it due to my experiences. That made him shiver and wish he will not have kids till he was way older. We even had to keep my pregnancy a secret. Only a few people really know about your heritage, but only we know about your 2 bloodlines. Your father's was a body bloodline called Fukuhiramiki, Eternal Flash, and mine is a Dijitsu called Sashigan, Element Eyes. In our clan scrolls you will find out about our blood limits. This and a few other things in my other scrolls are my gifts to you, son, and I wish you a happy and long life. Live long, son, and I love you. Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. With both Rei from the inside and Sarutobi on the outside, Naruto was being comforted by both as he cried happily for finally learning who his parents were, and to know they died loving him. He cried so much he actually went to sleep in the old man's arms. The third laid Naruto down on the couch with a blanket over him and a pillow to sleep on, while the third and 3 of his clones tackled the Kage's plague paperwork. The next morning, Naruto woke up stretching his stiff body in the Hokage office like a certain blonde will do in the future. You know who I mean. The third Hokage was sitting at his desk reading a orange-covered book, while the clones looked at him enviously while doing all the paperwork, filing and other office things. Naruto let out a loud audible yawn that made the third close the book fast and hide it while looking at the finally awake Naruto. Good morning, Naruto-kun. I hope you had a nice sleep after yesterday's incident, said Sarutobi in a soft and caring tone. Yeah, I did, Aji-san, and also I found out something very interesting while I slept, informed Naruto. While Naruto was asleep last night, him and Rei were talking about what caused her to attack Konoha, and he was not pleased one bit. Oh? And what, pray tell, might that be? Sarutobi curiously asked. The true reason behind Rei's attack on Konoha 6 years ago, Naruto said in a grim tone that made the third's eyes to go wide then to serious. And what happened to make her attack Konoha? Asked a very serious Hokage. She told me. Then Naruto starts talking about the conversation. Flashback begin. Hey Rei-chan? Hi Naruto-kun. I was curious to know the real reason behind your attack on Konoha, since in my father's scroll he said you were a kind and peaceful creature that didn't interfere with the humans much. Asked our blonde hero. Rei's eyes shadowed as she remembered what had happened. I was in my den sleeping a few weeks before I attacked when a pair of humans entered my den. The first one was a man with pale white skin and yellowish snake-like eyes and reeked of snake. He emitted a evil and crazy aura, but it was nothing compared to the other man. The other man reeked of evil and darkness that could almost rival that of my own when I am a bit angry. He wore an orange mask, with a spiral on it, that covered his left eye, and when I looked into his right eye there was a red pupil with a strange design on it. I instantly knew that it was the Manjikyu Sharingan from how it looked. The 2 men were called Orochimaru and Madara Uchiha. They both had the same plan to destroy Konoha and were planning on using me to do it, but of course I refused to do a thing and ordered them out of my den. But something happened to the Uchiha's eye and it started spinning. The eye held so much power that it had casted a very powerful genjutsu that made my dormant bloodthirsty side come out, and with the influence of the genjutsu I had only one objective, and that was to destroy Konoha even if it was against my will. As she spoke her story she was getting sadder and sadder until she finished and broke down crying. Instantly Naruto was holding Rei and comforting her as she did to him when he was crying. Flashback ends. And that's how it happened, Aji-san, finished Naruto. To say Sarutobi was astonished and pissed would be an understatement. The whole tower was shaking with Ki as the Hokage was radiating it at, and cursing himself for not getting rid of his damned student when him and Enma had the chance. Elsewhere in a laboratory, working on some random experiment, a pale man felt a giant shiver go down his spine, and he felt his blood run a bit cold. The man frantically looked for the cause but found nothing. He shrugged and went back to work on his experiments. Back at the office, the third had calmed down, and Naruto had came out from underneath the chair where he was hiding. He was scared of the power radiating off of the old man a second ago, and was really glad he wasn't the target. After gaining their composure, Naruto and Sarutobi continued their chat. Ahem, sorry about that, Naruto-kun. It's alright, Aji-san, but please don't do that again. I thought I saw Kami-sama from the lack of air, joked Naruto. Well, I believe you have training to go do, so I will not hold you up, Naruto-kun, and here are the scrolls from your parents, stated Sarutobi while handing Naruto the multiple scrolls. Hi, Aji-san, and I will be back for more missions later on in the months. Then Naruto bowed and left the office in a hurry to go see where his clan home is, on the Hokage Mountain. After about 30 minutes of navigating the forest on top of the Hokage Mountain, Naruto came up to a large gate that was covered in vines and overgrowth. The gate stood at a whopping 20 feet. The walls looked ancient and sturdy. After examining the wall closely, Naruto found a blood seal and whipped some of his blood on it. The faint sound of gears turning is heard, and the gates started to open up slowly. Beyond the gates was a house that made Naruto's jaw drop like it was made of lead or cement. There stood at least 500 to 600 feet away was a massive 3-story clan house surrounded by a compound that rivaled that of the Uchiha compound in size. There were multiple 2-story houses along a road that leads straight to the clan house and also to main side roads for more houses. Along the road were trees, overgrown bushes, overgrown flower beds, and some critters and animals. The most noticeable critter running around was a snow-white fox that was at least 1 foot 8 inches tall and 1 foot 11 inches long. The fox was running around with some other foxes and what seemed to be attachis, weasels. As Naruto was walking, the gate closed behind him and all the critters and pets stopped to see the blonde intruder. Most of the pets turned into their guardian mode and started growling. Naruto, on the other hand, tried to reassure them that this was his home now cause he was the late owner's son. After talking straight to the foxes, who he seemed to understand thanks to the deal with Ray, they all calmed down and went back to playing. With that out of the way, Naruto went back to observing his new home and decided to make 20 clones to go explore the streets and homes while he went and explored his clan home. The thought about his clan home brought tears to his eyes as he walked up the small set of stairs. Went to the door and used one of the keys he got to open the door. When the door opened, there was a slight blast of air, as if the house itself has been holding its breath for the years. Naruto walked in and was now in the entrance hall with the walls decorated with pictures of people he didn't recognize. As he walked down the hall and entered the living room, he felt a tight squeeze at his heart as a feeling washed over him, as if telling him that he was finally home. The living room was a cozy room of about 20 by 30 by 20, width length 8. Along the wall was a pair of blue leather couches with a small coffee table with a lamp on it in between them. Across the couches was an average-sized fireplace. Some chairs and a couple love seats made the room feel cozy and meant for big family gatherings. After seeing the living room, Naruto went into the dining room and was surprised to see a 6 by 4 by 4 oak table with some chairs around it. Naruto was surprised to see a full kitchen, as it had almost everything a chef would need except fresh food, of course, but thankfully the old man sealed up all the food to be preserved over time in some scrolls on the counter. He explored the whole first floor and found at least 3 guest bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a toy room that he cried about seeing, and also a door that seemed to not open, but he will look into that later. Just as he was going to go upstairs, the clones dispersed, and he had a pretty detailed mapping of the compound. There were at least 25 houses, all 2-story. There was a small park with most of the critters playing, and made a mental note to visit the park to get to know the little guardians. There was a hot spring in the West District with a waterfall and river in the East District. He then made more clones to go and salvage anything from all the homes and bring them to the clan home's living room, as in weapons, scrolls, tags, scrolls with food, traps, and most importantly pictures of his late family. As they were doing that, the real Naruto explored the 2nd floor. On the 2nd floor he found a dojo, weapons room and forge, laundry room, for more of each bathrooms and bedrooms. Now the third floor was the most emotional of them all due to it having the master bedroom where his late mother and father slept together before passing on. In the closet was his father's famous cloak with the kanji for Konoha's yellow flash on its back and gold threading. But the one thing that made him start crying his eyes out was when he opened a door leading into a room with sky blue wallpaper that almost looked like his eye color. Around the room was many stuffed toys that were meant for a toddler. In the corner there was a rocking chair with a pair of frog and fox stuffed toys. On the ceiling there it looked like he was staring up at the night sky perfectly even if it was 9:30 in the morning. The one thing that almost shattered his heart was the baby blue crib in the corner with multiple stuffed animals around it. It took Ray at least 20 minutes of cooing Naruto with soothing words from inside his mind before Naruto came back to the real world. After closing the door he promised that once he started a family that this room will be used for his children. Now with fully exploring the house except that one room he went downstairs and into the living room to find a dozen stacks of scrolls with the tags saying food, empty, weapons, poison, tags, traps, and other important stuff needed for his training, missions, and living. He saw one scroll that stood out the most with its tag saying pictures. Naruto had made some more clones to go put the food scrolls away in the kitchen and the other scrolls with the ninja items into the weapons storage on the second floor, and also to make the room organized and have a detailed list of what is in the room so he can get what he needs fast. The clones even thought up a way to raise Naruto's chakra control by attaching chakra strings to the scrolls to organize them and move them. While they were doing that, the real Naruto started looking through the pictures of all his relatives with smiling faces, which brought him joy and happiness to his heart. After the clones finished, Naruto went to explore the backyard and was astonished to see at least 2 to 4 acres of land. There was a swimming pool, a gazebo, a herb and vegetable garden, and a large training ground with an obstacle course that looked like it was meant and made for and by the devil. Hell, there was even a target range. All in all, this clan compound and house was sweet, and it was all his. For the rest of the day Naruto and his clone army of 100 set out to clean up the whole compound and work till even the dirt shined. We all know it can't, but it's another way of saying he cleaned it up till he dropped. It took them all day and even went and started seeding the garden to get it up and growing. Now we find our blonde hero exhausted sitting up against a tree in the park watching the animals play around with each other, as if the world was in complete peace and harmony. He is also petting the snow-white fox that he met and befriended after the encounter on the clan road. Soon after, about an hour, all the critters come and lay down around Naruto and fall asleep as the sun goes down, and from where Naruto sat he saw probably the most amazing sight he had ever seen in his entire life. As the sun was setting, the sky was glowing a bright orange with some yellow decorating it. There was only one word in the whole English language to describe it: beautiful, said a awestruck Naruto. After the sunset, Naruto and all the critters snuggled together and promptly fell asleep. It felt weird to Naruto, but it felt as if they were all his family and that he had the duty to protect and care for them. The next day, right after waking up, Naruto and his new fox companion named Vaughn went to the living room of the main house. Naruto remembered to read his mother's and father's clan scrolls and find out more about his bloodlines and clan techniques. Naruto with Vaughn on his lap happily getting a belly rub while Naruto opened his father's clan scroll. Naruto, in this scroll are all the techniques of our family, which promptly were meant in a kenjutsu style called Soratori, which is meant for the user to use strong strikes to make the opponent lose ground. Then when the time is right, use very fast and deadly strikes to end the person. Then there is our clan's taijutsu style called Riken Hekureki, which makes us use swift, fluent, and strong combos to take our opponents down quickly. And I know you probably wanted lots of jutsu, but don't worry your little head, cause in the main house there is a sealed door that contains all of your mother's and my jutsu, and also jutsu that was said to be lost long ago of all elements. At the bottom of this scroll there are 3 blood seals. In the first one contains my prized katana called Kurodenku, which was crafted with the same rare ore that made the 7 Mist Swordsman's swords legendary, and also it allow any kind of chakra to enhance it. The next has all my notes, and also 5 pairs of my prized tri-pronged kunai, and in the last seal are some notes on a special seal I have been creating that I think you could use when you finally turn into a half-demon. Yes, I know it's shocking, but thanks to Kyuubi's chakra constantly changing into your own chakra, thanks to the seal, your body will start to repel the yuki from your body, but as it is constantly going into you without changing into a half-demon, you might explode from overcapacity. This made Naruto mentally to remind himself to ask Rei about that. Now for last thing, your bloodline. Our bloodline is called Fukuhiramiki. Our bloodline allows us to live through the technique I created called Hiroshin no Jutsu. This jutsu allows us to go at light speed when we want to go to a certain seal, but what I did was put that seal on a piece of paper and put it on some of my tri-pronged kunais, making me able to use the ability over and over again. I instantly knew where to go because the second the kunai hits something, I instantly teleport to that area and fend off any enemy to save my comrades in the war. Now back to the bloodline and Hiroshin. Since Hiroshin sends us through light speed, the generated force would crush any other human being, but with our bloodline it doesn't affect us at all. Quite nifty, son. Love with all my heart. Your father, Minato Namikaze. Naruto was gawking at what his bloodline could do. He could go at the speed of light, and it wouldn't affect him at all. He slipped his blood over the first seal, and out poofed a blade that could only be described as damn, shouted Naruto. The blade had a white handle of about 13 centimeters long with the pattern of black lightning going in every direction. The blade itself was pitch black like it was total darkness, but along the blade was pure white lightning going in every direction. Etched on both sides of the blade are the names of his mother and father. He was going to cherish this blade for all of his life. The blade itself was 27 inches long, and when he pushed one of his hairs against it, the hair split perfectly. The sheath was a work of art as well. The sheath was hardened steel that had the design of a dragon wrapping around it, and having its mouth open as if it was going to eat the handle of the blade when it was sheathed. He resheathed the blade and set it aside carefully as if it were a newborn child. Next, Naruto unsealed the notes to Rasengan and Hiroshin. He also unsealed with them a crates of water balloons and rubber balls. It was said in the notes for Rasengan that he needed the water balloons for the first step, while the rubber balls are for the second step. He shrugged and got out a sealing scroll and set the notes to Rasengan and the crates away. He looked over the notes to Hiroshin and the tri-pronged kunai and read the rites. After he inspected the kunai, he was practically ecstatic from having the privilege to learn the jutsus. Lastly, he unsealed the special notes for the seal his father was working on. The notes state that if applied right, then the certain spirits will be connected through their minds and can speak mentally. He thought it was pretty much how him and Rei talked to each other, then it hit him. His eyes went wide from the thought and realization. His father gave him the means to keep in mental contact with Rei if he ever unsealed her. He added this down to things to talk with Rei about. Now he needed to see what his mother had left him, and if it's anything like what he got from his father, then he was dying of anticipation. He opened his mother's scroll and started reading it. Hello there, Naruto-chan. If you are reading this, then you must have gotten the apology letters. Well, I am not going to beat around the bush, so here is what our bloodline, the Sashigan, can do. There are 3 normal levels to Sashigan and also a 4 level that only one person in our clan has gotten to, and that is your ancestor, Figaki Uzumaki. When you activate your eyes, you will be able to see. Level 1 in this state, you are in your premature stage, which only allows you a minimal boost in damage and concentration when using jutsu of any kind. Also, you can barely see what affinity the person you see has, but these will get stronger in the coming levels. The last thing it can do is see the level of another's chakra pool and gauge it accordingly, but it will be a slow process until you get higher in levels. It will probably take a couple of minutes to process. Level 2 in this state, you gain moderate boost of elemental power but also have the slight ability to copy jutsu, but it will be like the first state of the Sharingan, which is one time in both eyes, where you can barely break down the jutsu's mechanics. Your affinity identifier increases in both distance and clarity, which you could use as a heat vision, but using the person's natural affinities to do it. The chakra pool reader's processing increases a lot. From a few minutes down to 45 to 60 seconds now. Level 3, this is the hardest normal to achieve with a consequence, but it is worth the boost in power, control, concentration, and eyesight. The copy ability increases to that of a 2-time Sharingan, and the effects can almost make time slow down like a real Sharingan does to predict movement. The identifier increases in distance, clarity, and you have night vision to your normal eyesight when you don't have Sashigan activated. The chakra pool reader's processing increases a lot more. From a 45 to 60 seconds to almost instant now. Now I am going to warn you before I tell you about the final level of the Sashigan, but heed the warning, son, because I certainly don't want a blind son when he comes here to the other side. The last level of the Sashigan is called Akuma no Sashigan, demonic element eye. As the name sounds, your eye will change drastically, and change to almost look demon-looking. But be warned, my son, before you go, and try and get this power. You must know that to get this power you will have to lose a loved one. Naruto was shocked when he read that. And you must overcome the mental trauma of losing that person to gain the Akuma no Sashigan. But as a note, if you do get this level, then train with it till you master it before using it in battle so you don't go blind in the eyes. Naruto knew that Rei could just heal his eyes, but he would heed the warning. Akuma no Sashigan, in this stage your power over the elements is astronomical, and it is as if you have total mastery over all the elements, and with it comes the tremendous boost of power, control, concentration, and eyesight. Your eyesight at this level rivals that of a fully developed Byakugan from the Hyuga clan, which means sight up to almost a kilometer. Your control over the elements is almost the same as the Bijou themselves, but thanks to them being thousands of years old, they have more mastery over their elements. The identifier ability increases in clarity, and the abilities during the night increase to heat vision, night vision, and if needed and up close enough you can look into the human body just like the Byakugan can, but not with the same distance as it. The chakra pool reader's processing increases to its maximum here. The process is instant, and also can see the heart rate of the person to see if they are lying or not. Our ancestor used this ability to be both a great interrogator and medic. Now that I have the bloodline over with comes with the gifts I have in the seals down below. In one are my twin kodachi, which are meant to be used in our family's twin blade style that uses one blade as a main defender, and the other as a main attacker, and alternate between the two blades, causing confusion and lose of balance and nearly impenetrable defense. The next seal has the clan leader necklace in it that amplifies our powers over the elements moderately when using natural affinites, and slightly for other affinites. And also, son, this next seal holds two things that are very precious to me and your father. In the seal are our wedding rings, but also thanks to a seal on rings, the one that is wearing one or if both with the necklace grants even more power over your natural elements, but with the more power then you need more control, so son, work on your control, and when you can use the three together with our bloodline with ease, then show the world that you are the world's first elemental master. Naruto, after reading the scroll, started crying for what his mother and father had left him. They left things that were probably the most precious things to them as possible below him, of course to him. He was going to honor their wishes and be the greatest in the world and make them proud. When Naruto unsealed the twin kodachi, he was enchanted by their sheaths alone. One was hardened carbon steel that had a phoenix with its fire blazing from the bottom to almost the top, where the phoenix looks like it is emerging from the fires to soar. The other kodachi sheath had an emerald dragon and a green dragon wrap around the sheath, intertwining together with their wings spread and their claws together and interlaced. The handle for kodachi one was blood red while the other was dark orange. When he unsheathed the first kodachi, the one with the red handle, he was amazed with the craftsmanship and also the design. It was reinforced hardened carbon steel, and the blade looked as if it was always covered in blood because the steel was blood red. From the top of the blade was a darker shade, while at the blade's edge was a lighter shade. All in all, the blade looked as if it was covered in blood. He resheathed that one and unsheathed the other, and was surprised to see it not orange, but instead it was an emerald green. He inspected it, and the other kodachi, and weighed them, and surprisingly they were very light, as was the katana from his father. Upon further inspection of the kodachi, he saw the inscription of red rose on the blood-colored one, and emerald glade on the other one. He was going to treasure these weapons like they were God's weapons. He unsealed the necklace and found it to be a totally beautiful, as it was emerald green bottom and sky blue on top, and in the middle the two would swirl together in a never-ending whirlpool. The most majestic part is that it looks as if there was actually chakra in the stone that kept the small cycle going inside it. He put the necklace on and looked in the mirror. He felt as if it was connecting to his very soul as of right now as he looked at it. Next he unsealed the rings and found them to almost look to be worth a king's fortune times 3. His mother's was a ruby that if looked at it closely then it was almost clear, meaning that it was a perfectly refined stone, and inside the ring had the kanji for love. Kushina's birthday is July 10th, so I got her a ring with her birthstone, and I will do it to Minato's as well, which is January 25th by the way. His father's was a perfectly refined garnet ring, and inside was the kanji for true. So as he put them together he smiled as they said true love. He slipped them on and felt getting closer and closer to his parent every time he does something with these scrolls. Now with all the scrolls read except the taijutsu, kenjutsu, and ninjutsu ones, Naruto is going to master his other taijutsu and kenjutsu styles before working on these ones so he can have multiple styles down and be a lethal force on the battlefield. Naruto got up and went to the one door that was unable to unlock and searched for a seal, and after about 10 minutes he found it very well hidden and under a genjutsu, no doubt. After a swipe of his blood the door unlocked, and he entered, and when he did his jaw hung so low that you could almost hear the floor crack slightly. In the library was about 1,000 and more books and scrolls. He thought that the room was actually the house, but noticed that his father made a storage seal of sorts that made the room inside be almost 3 stories, but on the outside it would look like a normal room. Naruto wandered and looked through the place, making a mental map of the place as to where all the genjutsu, ninjutsu, taijutsu, kenjutsu, medical jutsu, and other things were located at. It had taken Naruto almost an hour to go through the whole place, and was giddy to have all this knowledge and be able to learn from it. He left the room and resealed it after he was done. He knew he had to get back to training, sending a clone to Anko to tell her that she will have to come to his compound now instead of the cave home. Naruto started his 2nd year of training as of today. Naruto made almost 2,100 clones and set them out to do their jobs. Naruto heeded the warning from his mother and sent at least 300 clones to work on his chakra control. He was going to have water walking and tree walking down and add in other exercises to them to gain more and more control. Since he was gaining large amounts of chakra he would need more control, and so he wanted the clones to master them, done to him doing it blindfolded. With them doing that he sent 100 to work on higher grades of seals, 300 to work on his taijutsu, and have them break down by 100 into his already almost mastered styles and combining them. He sent 150 to work on his D and C ranked wind, water, and fire jutsus. He also sent 50 clones to go into the library and study on earth and lightning E and D ranked jutsus. He sent 100 to work on D ranked genjutsus. He had 100 work on accuracy and 100 work on reflexes. He sent 100 to work on E and D ranked medical jutsu and 100 to work on basic and moderate poisons. He sent 200 to work on weapon forging and repairing. He then had the remaining 300 work on his kenjutsu with his new katana, kodachis, and with his trench knives. And the last 100 to work on his chakra sensing range. The real Naruto went into his mindscape to talk to Rei about the things that are on his mind and also how his bloodlines aren't active. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto appears in the normal sewer where Rei-chan has been living all his natural-born life. Rei was now sleeping in her cage, and the 3 spirits were in their respective kanji, probably sleeping or helping his clones with their ninjutsu training. Naruto walks up to Rei's sleeping form and smiles as he looks at her cute and peaceful face. To those who think it wrong for Naruto to think like this, then you forget about Anko's presence in his everyday life. Naruto sat down and laid Rei's head on his lap. It seemed to not disturb her much, and then Naruto leaned back and forgot that nothing was behind him, only to find a wall instantly appear. This had Naruto think for a bit, and then realize that he could make this place into anything he wanted, and he did just that. Using his knowledge with Rei's memories, Naruto changed his mindscape into what looks like a prairie that was actually surrounded by all mountains in the distance miles away. There was a lake and a river that branched out about 500 yards away. There was a forest all around the prairie. The animals were going on with their everyday lives as if they were actually real. The sun shone onto Rei's face, making her look even more beautiful than before. As he laid his back up against a tree that was behind him, he sat there racing his fingers through Rei's hair. He kept thinking of all the things he wanted to ask her so she can clear up most of his thoughts. As if right on cue, Rei started waking up. The first thing Rei felt was that she had her head on something soft, then she started opening her eyes only to close them due to the sunlight. Wait! Sunlight! Her eyes snapped open to see the prairie in all its glory, just like in her memories. She was wondering how she got here till she heard and felt her pillow move and chuckle at her puzzled face. She turned to see Naruto sitting against a tree smiling happily. She couldn't form any words, so when she opened and closed her mouth several times he chuckled again. That brought her out of her daze and then finally asked the question that has been bugging her ever since she had woken up. How? It's my mind remember so finally realized that I could make this place anything I wanted, and that was a memory of yours from your distant past. I thought I would give this as a gift for how much you have helped me with up until now. Naruto said while his true smile widened more. She couldn't believe it. Naruto-kun just changed the look of his mind just for her as a gift. She was swelling with joy and happiness just looking at the place. She just laid her head back down and soaked up the view of the sky. It wasn't that cloudy, but the clouds were still there and were always moving with the wind. She was knocked out of her observations when she heard Naruto start speaking to her. Hey Rei-chan? Yes, Naruto-kun? I need to ask you about something. If you mind, of course. Getting a nod from the beauty on his lap, he continued, I read in my father's scroll that I might have to turn into a half-demon to stay alive when I reach a certain age, is he correct? Rei looked down as he asked that question. Well, yes, he is right, since being that I am above 6 tails in power, my chakra will cause you to explode the longer you stay human. You will also have to go through a special transformation through a special ritual that makes your body physically change to that of the demon inside of you. Since I am a fox demon, you will turn into a half-human/half-fox. I do not know the details after that, so we will have to wait and see when it will happen. Rei sadly said, thinking he would be angry at her for having to turn into a Hanyu. So pretty much I become a demon of sorts? Alright, I don't mind, and also with me being a half-demon, then I will be immortal, age-wise, and be able to live with you forever. The blonde smirked, and then it turned into a smile when he looked down at Rei. Rei couldn't believe it anymore. She just basically told his container that he will be what people call him, and he is okay with it, and he wanted to be with her forever. She felt like she was in paradise, looking out at the prairie, thinking about how much she will be loving her life with Naruto. She snuggled closer into Naruto's lap and sighed of relief. Hey Rei-chan, I have another question that has been bugging me ever since the scrolls as well. Our blonde hero said. Hi Naruto-kun, responded Rei. Why haven't my bloodlines appeared yet? I know I am a little young, but shouldn't I be getting the first stage of my Sashigano? Or are they dormant and need a special way to activate them? Questioned Naruto. Well, from what I think is that it has to do with the seal and how it is holding stuff back like my chakra, but also maybe your bloodlines. Rei stated her guess. So if I were to rip off another part of the seal, I would get my bloodlines working again? He gets a nod from Rei and then he reaches for her neck with his right hand. Rei gets surprised when she feels Naruto's hand grabbing onto something that is around her neck. She went for explanation, but in return she got a face full of pain from Naruto as he released the collar that was the new form of the seal, another one for 8th. After the pain subsided, Naruto felt lightheaded and returned to the real world to go to bed. Real world. Naruto wakes up to see that it is late in the afternoon and that all the clones were still training. He dispelled them by the hundreds with 10-second intervals, so there isn't too much of a overload. After he finished dispelling, he went to the main home with Von right on his heels, while having a funny feeling in his eyes that he played off as something else. If he had actually took the time to see what it was, then he would have saw the first stage of his Sashigan awakened. Next morning, it was a peaceful morning in Konoha. The birds were chirping and singing. The small critters and animals were out scavenging for food. And now we head to the peaceful Namikaze compound. Ah! Came a loud scream, making all the animals in the compound run away startled. Well, somewhat peaceful. In the main house's master bathroom, here we find Naruto looking in the mirror after he took a shower. He was drying off when he noticed that his usual blue eyes were now different in many ways. First off, the white part of his eye was now blood red and had different kanji around the eye for all the elements. His iris was now a topaz brown with what looks like fire licking the bottom of his iris, lightning sparking out around the top, raindrops in the middle, rock being the surface under the fire, and a ring of wind around his pupil. At first it was a shock, but after concluding that it is his bloodline at level 1, he didn't care and deactivated it by drawing the chakra from his eyes. Now with that scare over with, Naruto went out back and made his 2,100 clones again to get them back to work. The real Naruto did his usual exercises with his weights on and his swimming for a couple of hours before sitting down and having a conversation with Vaughn. "So what do you think of my training regimen, Vaughn?" asked a tired blonde. "I think that you are pretty much a one-man army all on your own, Naruto-san," said Vaughn the Fox. "Yeah, but I feel that if I had a partner like the Inuzuka family does, then I can be even more of a force to be reckoned with." Naruto imagined. "Why don't you and me become partners? I mean, you and I get along great, you can understand me, and this way I can get to travel a lot and meet some more of my kind," Vaughn suggested. "You know, that sounds like it might actually work. Should we even create a style for us to use when we fight?" answered the blonde. "Of course, since we can't really go into battle without being prepared and able to make perfectly coordinated attacks like those dog lovers." Vaughn growled at the end because of the relationship between the dogs and foxes. I wonder if Ray-chan knows a style we could use." Naruto thought out loud. "I do know of a style you and Vaughn could use, Naruto-kun. And also there is something I want you to try out, something, so come into your mindscape for a bit," Ray mentally told. Naruto entered his mind again to talk to the red-haired goddess. Next to Ray was a large scroll with the kanji of summon on it. The next thing Naruto knew, he was told/ordered to cut his thumb and sign the scroll. When he asked why he was doing this, he got an answer that left him awestruck. "I just made you the first owner and summoner of the Kitsune clan," she said, and made the scroll disappear. "Now leave while I give you the knowledge of how to use the Kitsune Shikanryu through a data dump," she said before kicking Naruto out of his own mind. While Ray was doing the data dump, Naruto was using his first stage to get used to activating it and make it come instantly when he wants it to, and for about 5 months this is what Naruto did. He had mastered Taekwondo and Aikido fully, and had all his Taijutsu clones working on combining them. He had tree walking and water walking down the first week, but had used the whole 5 months to fully master it by combining all his other exercises with them. Now he had them keep do it, but make them do it even harder every time they mastered that certain level. His chakra sensing was gradually increasing over time, and he was glad it was, for now he has been doing more and more of the infiltration missions and also the D-ranked missions his clones do. He had almost all moderate seals down, and was using books from the library to increase his knowledge and find more seals to learn. One of them was the blood/chakra tattoo seal on one's body. He had made a tattoo for his father's katana on top of his left hand and one for his mother's kodachis on top of his left hand. The katana's tattoo was that of a dragon wrapping around his hand and wrist, while the kodachi's tattoo was a green dragon and a phoenix battling for power by interlocking their claws. His reflexes and accuracy have been rising and rising fast thanks to his father's obstacle course in which he uses. He has his throwing clones throw shuriken, kunai, throwing knives that are infused with wind, and saban, while the reflex clones have to go through the course and make the fastest time while dodging everything coming at them. Those that do it have to redo it to keep up with the training. Naruto's ninjutsu has all his E and D ranked water, wind, and fire jutsu down to not using seals, and he even has a few of his C rank to that level now. He has been working on his earth and lining jutsu almost just as hard, and now he has all his E rank down to no seals and some D ranked. His control over all the elements jumped thanks to the rings, necklace, and his Sashigan. His genjutsu skills have improved a lot over the 5 months, as now he has his E and D rank down, and can find and disable most C-ranked genjutsu. He also has medical jutsus almost all the way down for E and D ranked, but needs about 1 more month of practice to master them. With the help of Anko, Naruto's poison-making skills keep going up fast, and thanks to his herb garden he always has enough ingredients for them. He even gave Anko some books on poison, and even some in more productive interrogation methods. He shivers every time he hears a scream of a captive ninja or person who is being tortured by Anko. Also, his weapon forging skills have greatly improved by the many books in the library made by Grand Masters in the past, who even some were known as legends. Naruto's kenjutsu skills shot through the roof, as he finally had gotten a katana that was strong enough to withstand the advanced parts of the kenjutsu style he was learning. When Naruto held and used the twin kodachis, he always looked like he was majestically dancing. Soon he will master both the styles, and he might be able to start his training in the art of Hitenmasurujiryu from Ifrit for his katana training, and his mother's style for his kodachis. After the day when he got his Sashigan, he has been training with it till he has fully mastered the first stage. Also after that day both Naruto and Van, his snow fox companion, started their training in the art of Kitsune Shikinryu. The first month was all about learning how to predict their partner's movement to then work in complete harmony and precision. After the first month the two continued to refine their combinations and precision. After some pleading from Rei on the day after signing the contract, Naruto also had a clone work on summoning and also make mental notes of which fox or fox group took how much chakra, and sooner or later after a month Naruto was able to summon the boss, who wasn't Reichan cause she was still in him, but it was a 8-tailed fox that was almost the same height as Reichan when in her fox form. His name was Heijin, Quicksilver, and he is second in command of the Kitsune clan, while Rei is still inside him. Rei even told Naruto that if he could get the approval of the Ifrit, Ares, and Valina, then he could make a personal summoning contract only meant for him, and after convincing the three that they could even be able to move around in a human body during the summon, they agreed instantly, and so Naruto can summon the foxes and Ifrit, Ares, plus Valina. Even if it was against his will and forced to join, Naruto started the academy, but he only had a clone go and pass the class for him, even if the teachers just tried to sabotage his grades. Sarutobi's only excuse was you need more social interactions and make some friends that will be willing to help you out in the future. Naruto hated how the man always used logic against him cause it always made him do what the old man wants him to do. He befriended a couple of people and after a while him, Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akamichi, Kiba Inuzuka with Akamaru, and Sasuke Uchiha became real good friends. Sasuke isn't going to be a ass in this fic even after the massacre. Naruto also learned of God's worst creation on the planet the first day at the academy. Fangirls and fangirls who love fluffy things, mainly Van's clone, was almost dispersed every day. Near Fire Country border, now we find the real Naruto looking for the entrance to Rei's old den to look for a katana that she said that he could have and use. Even though he already has a katana, Rei says that it is always good to have another blade as a backup in case you are unarmed during a battle. After 3 hours of looking, Naruto finally finds the entrance and goes in to find a vast empty room that is pitch black inside. Using his chakra sensing to navigate the room to find a humongous bed with an average-sized katana bolted up to a wall. The white sheath had black and red flames licking from the bottom up. The handguard was made of pure gold, and the handle was the same as the sheath in design. When he took it off the wall and unsheathed it, the design on the blade was crimson red like his mother's red rose. When Rei told Naruto to push fire chakra into the blade, he did, and the weirdest but coolest thing happened. As the chakra formed around the blade, black flame-like designs started inching up the blade to make the blade look like it had both hellfire on it and normal fire. Naruto resheathed it and started back home. After a while of talking with Rei and finding out that the sword's name was Shinkureku, and with either elemental chakra pushed into the blade a different design appears. 3 days later in the Hokage's office, Naruto Uzumaki Namike is reporting for duty. Aji-san, the blonde says as he shunshins into the office, sending out a mini tornado for an entrance. Ah, good to see you, Naruto-kun, and might I add, nice entrance. I haven't seen that entrance since your father was alive. Sarutobi proudly said. So why have you called me Aji-san? Another D-ranked mission? Said aboard Naruto. No, actually this is C-ranked, and you are to go to Suna with Yamato to finalize the alliance between our two villages. Sarutobi had his I am serious mask on, and Naruto instantly went to attention. Alright, I guess I could go and maybe make some friends in Suna as well, said the blonde. Alright, Yamato will meet you at the gate in 1 hour, and since your foxes are probably tens of times faster than any shinobi, use one of them to get there fast enough. This mission will probably take 1 month long due to it being a diplomatic mission, so be prepared, informed the old man, and getting a nod of affirmation from Naruto, and he left. 1 hour later. Alright, Naruto-san, since we are going to try and make there in less than a day, why don't you summon a fox? Said Yamato, and then 10 seconds a 3-tailed fox that was about 4 feet 2 inches tall and 5 feet 1 inch long named Sakuto appeared. Naruto-sama, how may I be of service? Said the newly summoned fox. Yes, Sakuto, me and my leader need to get to Suna in the shortest way possible, and who better than the fastest fox I know? Naruto said while smirking. Hi Naruto-sama, Sakuto said while bending down and allowing both Naruto and Yamato onto his back and getting a good grip with chakra before he shot off to Wind Country. 4 hours later in Wind Country outside Suna's gate, a random pair of guards were lazily standing guard at the gates when one of them saw a large dust cloud coming to the gate. What the hell is that? Asked guard 1. I don't know, but it's coming this way extremely fast, and only person I know to do that is Mato Guy. The guards shudder at the name. Just then the causer of the dust storm was a 3-tailed fox with 2 passengers on its back. The 2 people disembarked the fox and the fox disappeared after getting some meat from one of the people. Just then the guards noticed that the person who gave the meat to the fox was a boy no bigger than 6 or 7 years old, and the other man is a Konoha Jonin by the looks of his clothing. The 2 started walking up to the gates, but the guards stopped them. State your business and ID, said guard 1. Yamato passes his ID to the guard and pulls out the scroll for the allegiance between the 2 villages. Me and my charge here are coming to give this scroll to the Kazekage so he can sign it, and the allegiance between Suna and Konoha can be complete. Yamato stated seriously, after handing the ID back and looking over the scroll and handing that back. Alright, you are free to go, but until you reach the Kazekage's office a team of Umbu will tail you to make sure you don't do anything. You know the deal, said guard 2, getting a nod from the 2. 30 minutes later in the Kazekage office. Hello Kazekage-sama, Yamato said in a professional tone. Hello Shinobi-san, how may I help you today? The Kazekage said. I have the scroll for the finalization of the allegiance between Leaf and Sand. Thank you, I will sign this, and then I will have to run this through the council and so on till I nearly kill them all for making me wait so long to agree to the damn thing, mumbled the Kazekage, getting a laugh from Naruto and a chuckle from Yamato. Well, since this will be taking some time, then we shall be staying in a hotel for now. Goodbye Kazekage-sama. Yamato bows. Alright, I will try to get this done as fast as I can, but don't count on it that much, I am afraid. Informed the Kazekage Ano, who might this child be? His name is Naruto Uzumaki, sir, and he my charge on this mission, being that he is only 7 and already near Jonin level in strength and power. The Kazekage's eyes went wide from this statement but got suspicious. If he is as good as you say, then allow him to fight one of my Jonin in a spar. If you wish, Kazekage-sama, Naruto said in a quiet tone, and he bowed his head and left via futon, Shunshin getting a surprised look from the Kazekage. Oh, and Kazekage-sama, that boy can go toe-to-toe with Kakashi no Sharingan and almost win. Yamato mentioned before Shun shining after Naruto. I think I just might have to send myself to test him. The Kazekage sighed and pulled out some sake and started drinking it, and then turned back to his worst enemy, paperwork. Couple hours later at a park. Look out, it's the freak! Shouted a random boy, sending kids running as a red-headed kid with the kanji of love on his forehead was standing there looking sad cause no one would play with him until he heard a voice. Hey kid, you want to play? Said the strange person. The redhead turned to see our blonde hero standing there holding his hand out to him. Aren't you going to run like everybody else does? Questioned the redhead. What? Of course not. If you need someone to play with, I will play with you. Naruto smiles to the redhead. Sure, let's play some ball, said the redhead. Alright, but first let me introduce myself. The name's Naruto Uzumaki, and you are? The blonde asked. Gaara of the desert. Well, Gaara, then let's play some ball, chirped the energetic blonde. Over the next few hours both Gaara and Naruto played ball till it was almost 8 p.m., and then it was time for Gaara to go home to bed. Well, Gaara, I guess I will see you tomorrow after my spar with one of Suna's Jonins for the heck of it. Naruto started chuckling from the look on Gaara's face, but after a while it calmed down. You're gonna spar again one of our Jonin ninja, Naruto-san? Questioned a curious Gaara. Yeah, my abilities are on par with Jonin, so the Kazekage is testing me to see if I am not bluffing, said a rather annoyed blonde. So father thinks you aren't that powerful, huh? He gets a questionable gaze and told Naruto that the Kazekage is his father with 2 siblings. Well, I will see you later, Gaara-san. Naruto kept up his smile while disappearing into thin air. Next day before battle. It's around 10 a.m. in the morning, and the Kazekage, a Sand Jonin with a mask over his face, Yamato, Naruto, Gaara, and 2 other children that stay away from Gaara in fear are at a training ground waiting for the spar between Naruto and the Jonin to begin. Naruto is stretching while the Jonin and Kazekage are talking. Gaara and Naruto are chatting like they were friends since the beginning of their lives. The girl with 4 blonde ponytails and the kid in the black suit with face paint are looking at Naruto like he is crazy for talking to Gaara and thinking of facing Baki, their Jonin sensei. When this Baki walks over across from Naruto, the two boys stop chatting and the blonde finishes his stretching. So you the kid that is said to be almost Jonin in power? Or are you just plain old bluffing? Baki said in a rough voice. Oh, I assure you that even Kakashi Nizen has trouble fighting with me when I fight at full power, countered the young blonde. Your older brother is Kakashi Hatake? Baki asked. No, not really, but he is my older brother, figure being that I am only an orphan due to my parents dying in the battle against the Kyuubi. The blonde sounded sad at the end of that statement. Well, we will see if you really are what you say to be. Baki gets into a fighting stance. Fine by me. Naruto got down into a weird stance. It's the stance for the combination of the two styles. That's a weird stance you're taking there, kid, Baki said, running at Naruto to punch him in the face, but instead it's pushes to the side and he gets a punch to the stomach and a throw over the blonde's shoulder. Baki flips and lands on his feet and rubs his sore stomach. That's some punch, it's like a brick hit me, thought Baki. Then Naruto rushed forward and as well as Baki. The two exchanged blows for about 10 minutes before jumping away from each other. Naruto threw some shuriken and Baki dodged them. Baki then started doing some hand seals that Naruto recognizes. Futon, Daitapa, wind-style great breakthrough, shouted Baki, shooting a large mass of air out of his mouth at Naruto at a high speed while the blonde yelled a jutsu without even doing any hand signs. Katon, Gukaku no Jutsu, fire style, great fireball jutsu, shouted Naruto as he shot a fireball about 20 feet in diameter out of his mouth that was pure white due to his strong fire affinity, and that he added some futon chakra to make it stronger. All the onlookers and Baki except Yamato dropped their jaws at the power of the young man, and the fact he did it with no hand signs is a feat in itself. When the two techniques collided, the Daitapa lost in a second and the wind jutsu gave Gukaku even more power, making it grow to 30 feet in diameter, and increasing its speed even more. Baki got out of the way just in time to see the jutsu keep on going for about 500 meters, glassing the sand it hits instantly before it explodes, making a crater of glass about 40 to 50 feet in diameter. Everyone, even Yamato, were slack-jawed at the power of the jutsu. So you saying I am not at the same power as a Jonin now? Teased the young blonde. I believe you now, because damn fire only turns white when you put a lot of power into them, and you have a strong affinity for fire, exclaimed Baki. Did I forget to mention that I have 3 affinities? Naruto nervously said, getting all eyes on him except Yamato, cause he already knows. 3? And you were what? Born 6 or 7 years ago, exclaimed both the Kazekage and Baki at the same time. Yeah, well, I have very strong wind affinity, and my side affinities are strong fire, as you have seen, and strong water, and before that fire does anything else I should cool it down. Naruto does a small string of hand seals, and then a ball of water appears out of nowhere in his right hand, and a ball of wind appears in his left, and he connects them, and they both shoot out in a typhoon of water to the fire, while Naruto shouts out Sueton plus Futon, Gufu Suka no Jutsu, wind and water style, typhoon water vortex jutsu. The water and wind jutsu extinguished the fire and soaked almost 2 kilometers of sands further than the crater. Yamato was intrigued at the combination, while the others were wide-eyed with their jaws to the ground. Even Gaara had his jaw down to the ground. Naruto was panting heavily from the usage of the jutsu combination. Dang, Naruto-san, you need to teach me that when we get back home to Konoha, shouted Yamato. I may, Yamato-san, but right now I need to rest. That combination took a lot out of me, and that's saying something if you know what I mean. Naruto sat down and caught his breath when Yamato came over and picked the blonde up and put him on his back. Well, we will be at the hotel if you need us, getting a slight nod from the Kazekage, who was still trying to register how a child can do that much damage at his age, and came to when Yamato left via Shunshin and telling everyone to go back home, but Gaara just went to the hotel Naruto and Yamato were staying at to talk to Naruto. At the hotel, Naruto was sitting down on his bed thinking of things he could be doing over the month being in sand until there was a knock at the door. Naruto got up saying coming and opened the door to the red-headed Gaara, who asked if he could come in. Yes, sure, Gaara, I was just thinking while I recovered from the jutsu I used, the blonde said, walking over to a chair and sitting down. Well, what are you thinking about? Asked the red-headed demon holder. What I am going to be doing over the month. I will be here till the treaty is fully signed and accepted. Right now I am thinking I should continue my training and maybe get to know Suna if we are going to be allies soon. Naruto stated. Well, what do you train on? Gaara asked curiously. Well, I work on a lot of things actually. I study sealing, anatomy, medical jutsu, fire, water, and wind jutsus of C-ranked and D-ranked for lightning and earth jutsus, and plenty more things. The blonde stated. Wow, you must be able to do everything at once to be where you are at now. Well, technically I am everywhere and studying everything at the same time. Naruto said, scratching the back of his head as he gets a questioning glance from Gaara. And how do you do that? Like this? Naruto crosses his fingers and a shadow clone appears in a poof of smoke. This is a shadow clone. With this jutsu I can be learning one thing while these learn other subjects, and when they disperse I get all their knowledge and experience back. Informed the blonde. Wow, I wish I could do that, but I still can't use my chakra all the way. Gaara downcast, but lifted his gaze as he felt Naruto's hand on his shoulder. Hey, don't worry Gaara-san, maybe while my clones work on my training I could teach you and your siblings and make you all stronger in the month I am here. Naruto said with a smile on his face. You would actually do that, Naruto-san? Questioned the redhead. Of course, you are my first real friend that is near my age. And also from what my Kekkei Genkai I can teach you and your sister some wind-style jutsus, cause you both have the affinity to wind and you have earth as well. Also, might I ask if you are one of them? Naruto stated and asked. One of what, Naruto-san? Gaara asked Naruto. I mean, do you have a demon inside you? Upon hearing that, Gaara's eyes widened and he moved away from Naruto. How do you know? Yelled a scared Gaara. 1. My Kekkei Genkai can see people's affinities, and having a very strong affinity to sand is not very possible without either Shikaku in you or having a Kekkei Genkai for sand like the third Kazekage with his iron sand bloodline. 2. Reichan inside me tells me you have demon chakra leaking out of you slowly. 3. Control over sand without even doing anything, making it a perfect defense, is the ability of Shikaku's influence. Explained the blonde. Well, I do have Shikaku inside me, but I do not know how to control him, and he keeps me from sleeping. Ano, who is this Rei person you spoke about? Gaara asked. Rei is the real name of the Kyubi no Kitsune that inhabits my body, but what people say about demons is only because humankind, if they don't know what something is, they discriminate against it, and since they really didn't know what the 9 bijou were, they thought of them as bloodthirsty demons. And also, if I may, can I see your seal? I may be able to help the connection between you and Shikaku-san. Informed the blonde while getting a hesitant nod from Gaara, who lifted his shirt. The seal is on the left side of my torso, said the redhead. Naruto channeled some chakra into his hand and ran his hand along Gaara's torso, and a seal shows up, but also with it another seal shows up over it. I see the problem. You have a flawed seal holding the Shikaku with a berserker seal over to make the Shikaku get really agitated and cause him to go crazy. I can right now fix the seal and remove the berserker seal so you can sleep again. All I need to do is tell Yamato-san, and then seal off this room with a sound seal, because the seal I will be using will be painful. Naruto told Gaara, whose eyes widened at the thought of sleeping again. I can be able to sleep again? Getting a nod from Naruto, he gladly accepted the help from Naruto. Alright, I will make a clone to go tell Yamato-san while me and 3 more clones start the sealing process. All you will need to do is lay down when I tell you to and not to move, alright? Getting a nod from Gaara, he makes 4 clones and 1 goes to tell Yamato while another clone seals up all the furniture so the sealing can work. After the sound seal goes up, Naruto and 3 of his clones were taking intensive care while writing all the kanji for a revised version of the Shiki Fusion with adding 8 trigram sealing style and the 4 symbols sealed to it. The seal doesn't summon the Shinigami, but it does the same thing as the Shiki Fusion, giving Gaara complete control over the sand while being able to sleep, and also Shikaku can finally loose his bloodlust that was the cause of the berserker seal attached to the flawed seal. After about an hour of kanji writing and preparing, Naruto told Gaara to lay down on the seal, in which he did so. Are you ready, Gaara-san? The blonde asked his fellow demon holder, who nodded back to him. Naruto did some hand signs and then slammed his hands down on the seal on Gaara's chest, starting the sealing process. The second Naruto slammed his hand down, the kanji moved to the seal and thus beginning the screaming of Gaara from the intense pain. 2 hours later, the sealing finally ended and Gaara was covered in sweat and panting heavily, trying to get his breath back. The sealing was a success as Gaara closed his eyes and fell straight to sleep. Naruto just unsealed the furniture, and put everything back and set Gaara on the bed to sleep. He then went and unsealed the room, allowing Yamato to enter and check up on the two boys. Well, it seems the sealing worked because people say that if Gaara were to go to sleep, the Shikaku would take over. The Jonin said. Yeah, it worked just fine, and Gaara should be able to control his powers even better than before. Also, Yamato-san, I was wondering if you can tell the Kazekage and Baki-san and tell them I will be training the Suna siblings while we are here. Temari-san and Gaara-san have wind affinity and Gaara has earth as well, so I can teach them some jutsu, and also with some training and guidance I can teach them how to use chakra. Naruto told Yamato. Alright, I will inform them both of your plan, Naruto-san. Yamato said as he left to the Kazekage Tower. For the whole month Naruto, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro were training together. The three Sand siblings were amazed as they saw about 2,100 clones doing all kinds of training while the real Naruto was doing some workouts. Temari and Kankuro were still unnerved when they learned about the sealing and that Gaara can sleep again without going Shikaku. Gaara was able to speak to the now not insane Shikaku during his sleeping, and they were able to befriend each other. Now Gaara was able to control his sand with his hands, and it barely took any chakra to do it. After the first week, the trio were able to fully use their chakra and were doing a lot of physical exercises to raise their chakra pools. After Kankuro learned how to create a chakra string, he left the training and told them he would pick up the art of puppetry from a person named Lady Chio, who was an old veteran in the field. Gaara and Temari were able to learn some low-level futon jutsu like Diadapan and others like it. For Temari, she got a battle fan for her jutsu in which she learned futon. Dai Kamataki and signed the contract with the weasels. After the month, Naruto and Yamato told the trio that it was time for them to go back to Konoha, Suna Gate. Well, I hope to see you three again. Now remember, keep working on your chakra control and get Baki-san to help you where you are struggling. And Gaara, get plenty of sleep so you can regain all the years you lost. Naruto ordered the Sand siblings. Hi Naruto-sensei. The trio said. Ma, I am not your sensei, I am only a friend who wanted to make his friends stronger. And also Kazekage-sama, please try to be with your kids more often because they will need it in the future, Naruto said to the man with the hat with the kanji for wind on it, and he lowered his eyes when he talked about a parent being with his kids. The Kazekage put his hand on Naruto's shoulder with a smile on his face. Don't worry Naruto-san, I will, and also remember that your parents are real proud of you right now for what you are making of yourself. I know and I accept that they are in a better place, looking down at me with pride, knowing I am going to live their legacy. Chirped the blonde, making everyone laugh at the power Naruto has to always change from sad and gloomy to happy and excited in a flash. Well, Kazekage-sama, we will be hoping that you five come visit sometime in the future to get away from the desert heat and paperwork, Yamato said, and then mumbled the last part. Paperwork got you down as well, Kazekage-sama? Well, why not use the shadow clone jutsu to do it for you like I told the third years ago? Naruto said, getting a wide-eyed Kazekage who walked over to the nearby wall and did the same thing the third did when he learned the secret. He started pounding his head into the wall, repeating stupid, stupid, stupid over and over again. The group started laughing at it. After, the Kazekage stopped and quickly made 3 clones that went to go work on his worst enemy. The real one told the two to have a safe trip. Naruto then summoned Sudoku, to the amazement to the Sannin and siblings. Temari was so caught up with the sight of a fluffy fox that she screamed kawaii and hugged the fox like a fangirl, much to the displeasure of everyone's ears. Sudoku, on the other hand, loved the affection the blonde girl was giving him, and it was shown as his hind leg thumped a bit and allowed Naruto some blackmail. After the fangirl crazy was over, leaving a flushed Temari, the two boarded Sudoku and left Suna to get back home. 4 hours later, in the Hokage's office. Welcome home, you two. I hope your trip was fun, said a smiling third. It was Aji-san, and I made some friends there that were the Kazekage's children. Even one of them was like me in the department of having a demon sealed inside us, informed the happy blonde. One of his children had a demon in them? Which demon was it, and is he stable? Questioned the third in a serious but curious tone. Yes, one of his children does. His name is Gaara of the Desert, and he has the Ichibi no Shikaku in him. His seal was flawed at the beginning, but after I used one of my newly created Kinjutsu Ugi seal, Forbidden Master Technique, the seal was fixed, and now the Shikaku and Gaara are friends. At the mention of Kinjutsu Ugi, the third and Yamato got curious, and the third asked their combined question. Ano Naruto-kun, what do you mean Kinjutsu Ugi seal? The seal is a variant of the Shiki Fujin. He was interrupted by the third. Shiki Fujin. Naruto, that seal. He was stopped by Naruto. Let me finish. Aji-san getting a nod in return, he continued. I used a variant of the Shiki Fujin with the addition of 8 trigrams sealing style and the 4 symbols celtoid. It greatly increased the power of the Shiki Fujin and also allows the person to gain full control over their demon, and also this seal doesn't need the Shinigami, being that a containment seal is already in use. So now the two work together to protect each other. Naruto finished with the third looking happy that his adoptive grandson created something that only a real seal master can make. Well, with that said, I would like for Yamato-san to give the report. You can go home and continue training, Naruto-kun. The third said, getting a nod and a wind shunshin from the blonde as he left. At the Namikaze compound, Naruto arrived at the gate and entered only to find 2 things jumping him and almost crushing him. Van being one of them, and the other being his good friend and poison tutor Anko. After discussing the mission, the 3 went into the main house, since Anko now lives here on the compound, taking up the closest home to the main house. Kakashi and Yamato also live in the compound, so they took a house each. Kakashi met Naruto a month after Naruto started his 2nd year of training at a meeting with the Hokage. Naruto's clone was getting the usual D-ranked mission when Kakashi came into the room in his Anbu outfit. Kakashi saw Naruto getting a mission and asked why he was getting one at his age, and in return he finds out that Naruto is the son of his late sensei, and has been training since he was 5 after a beating on his 5th birthday. That day was a dark day for Konoha because the Ki coming off of Kakashi made the sky turn instantly cloudy and a thunderstorm started not too long afterwards. Naruto was hiding under the third's desk while the third was slightly sweating from the Ki pressure. Ever since that day, Kakashi and Naruto have been living together at the compound, and the two have been inseparable since then. Naruto even got Kakashi to stop his reading of Ika Ika and get him to read some other things after telling him that the book is probably nothing and compare the real thing. Also, Kakashi, after a short and very dangerous, to his well-being, talk with Naruto, started arriving at everything he was called for the second he is informed. He even beat the record on the day after the talk, which even freaked the third out into trying to dispel Kakashi as if he was a genjutsu, but after Kakashi explained what happened, the third was almost dead from laughing so hard. That day forward, Naruto got respect from every Jonin and Anbu member for changing Kakashi. The Kunoichi even thanked Naruto with some ES for getting Kakashi to stop reading Ika Ika in public and stop altogether, much to the dismay to the bookstore owner who had Kakashi as a valuable customer. The rest of the year went on with Naruto doing his regular training, D and C ranked missions, team training with both Kakashi and Van, and poison training with Anko. Naruto even started doing even more A-ranked infiltration missions that were soon starting to be low S ranked with every mission. Naruto's ceiling has been rising each and every day, as he even was making his own seals. He was getting real good at the seals after he created that Kinjutsu Ugi seal, and now his skills are almost to that of Jiraiya himself. All he needs to do is continue with his studying, and he will be past his father in no time flat. Also, he has been researching and studying the curse seal on Anko's neck, and has been making progress on a real suppression seal that will remove it. Naruto's physical training continued as usual. Even though it doesn't show on his body, Naruto is actually a lot stronger than most Jonin and Anbu. He is now doing his father's obstacle course every day. Naruto finally started using the gravity seal, and so far has it at 2 times normal gravity, with his weighs all being at 200 pounds for the bracers and 250 for his vest. Naruto even got a pair of chakra weight gloves to increase his hand science speed for his higher ranked jutsu. As of right now they are at 100 pounds, which with the gravity seal they are really at 200. He even learned of a seal that when added to the human body it acts as a parachute, greatly reducing movement like a gravity seal, but it also improves control over wind chakra, and so he now has 5 resistance seals on. 1 on his chest, 1 on both arms, and 1 large one on each leg. Kakashi, Yamato, Van, and Anko even join into the physical part, and it is showing quite nicely. Kakashi so far is at 175 pounds on bracers and 225 in his vest. Yamato has 150 pounds on bracers and 200 for vest. Enko, even though she is a kunoichi, is at 180 pounds for bracers and 230 for her trench coat. Van just has a gravity seal on since he doesn't have any area for a piece of clothing. Naruto's weapon forging and poison training have been going along smoothly, as now Naruto is almost a poison expert, and Naruto has been selling all his extra weapons to the Higurashi weapons store. In return, he gets free shipments of metal. Naruto's clones have been making many exotic and ancient weapons that the designs for were said to be long gone. Higurashi weapons store, with the help of Naruto, have supplied all the ninja of the village, and keep them supplied. Tenten Higurashi and Naruto even became good friends over time. One day Naruto showed Tenten his father's katana, and his mother's kodachi's. Tenten's mouth almost dropped off its hinges from the craftsmanship and the legends behind them. The Higurashis even started making a chain of weapon stores all over the Fire Country by selling all of Naruto's spare weapons and seals that he doesn't need. The blonde's chakra control has jumping every month thanks to him incorporating the gravity seal onto himself. He has to have real good control as to not make dents in the ground every time he takes a step. He had to restart all his control training when dealing with tree walking and water walking, but in the end he mastered them again, and is still adding in the additional exercises to boost his control and concentration. Naruto can do the chakra yo-yo with the lead ball at 240 pounds. He even started doing it with multiple balls with one on each finger. His chakra sensing has improved to almost 500 meters. With the help of his Sashigan, he even incorporated the two together, as to even get the affinity and chakra pool level of the enemy in minutes, since he is still at level 1. Naruto's kenjutsu skills are jumping with leaps and bounds as he finally mastered both the katana kenjutsu style he was learning and the kodachi style. Even though he mastered them, he thinks that once he turns them into a fluent art where he can do the katas one after another in a fluent notion, then he can start on working on his mother's kodachi style and Hiten Mitsurujiryu from Ifrit. After he showed him that he is worth training in the art, he will probably have the two down in another month, so he should start the basics of these two now. Now Naruto has his reflex clones trying the course with the throwing clones targeting them while they have the gravity seal on, making it harder to dodge. The more the clones work on the course, the better his accuracy and reflexes become. Even Enko and Yamato throw in their own obstacles for the clones to get around, making it even tougher, and have them think of more strategies on the spot as if he was in a major battle and he had to get his squad out of the line of fire fast. His ninjutsu skills have jumped thanks to his Sashigan with the 3 jewels, and so he has jutsu in every main element. Naruto has all the C-rank jutsu for wind, fire, and water down to no hand seals. He has all the D-rank lightning and earth down to the same level. Ray even told Naruto that he can start learning how to combine water and wind into ice now, and so he starts his Hayatan, ice style, training. For now, until he can easily make ice, he will be just learning how to combine the two perfectly. Naruto even started creating some of his own wind jutsu, and has created some combination moves that are just like Suiton plus Futon, Gufusuka no Jutsu, wind and water style, Typhoon water vortex jutsu. His genjutsu skills have been getting better and better with the help of Enko, Yamato and Kakashi, so he can disable all C-ranked and below instantly, and is working on both B and A ranked. In San, Naruto had clones working in the hospital working on his medical jutsus so he can activate E and D ranked ones with a single hand seal, mainly the diagnosis jutsu and Shaozen jutsu, mystical hand technique. Naruto's taijutsu is going along smoothly as he finally fully created his own taijutsu style by combining taekwondo and aikido, and is working on making them fluent, and also working with them to add in the effect of the gravity seal, and when without it. He also using his taijutsu training as a chakra control training, so the longer he can maintain all the clones the better his control is, plus he makes the clones train on the water and trees to help with his chakra control. He is now working on the basics of both Riken Hekureki and his mother's family taijutsu style, while he is trying to master his own. Naruto and Van have gotten most of the techniques involved with Kitsune Shikinryu down, and are working on their timing and precision. Basically the style is like the Inuzuka families, but instead of using brute force they use fast and precise hits to take down their opponents. With Naruto learning all these different styles of fighting, he will be an all-around kind of ninja just like his father was. His Sashigan still hasn't leveled up yet, but he isn't worried because he has time. Naruto even had Vaughn join the summoning list so he can be able to summon him anywhere when he needs him. He is trying to memorize all the names of all the foxes he can summon, and even summon some of them so they can play in the real world with Vaughn, Enko, Kakashi, himself, and Yamato. Naruto's first year at the Ninja Academy was boring to say the least, and even though he knows he passes all the tests, he always comes back with failing grades. He doesn't care really, and even when the third tells him to try more, he tells the third that he makes sure he aces the tests and quizzes, but the teachers make it sure that he is failing. Usually the next day the teacher is long gone, and new teacher comes in, and it kept going on like that until a new teacher came in. He had a scar across his nose and had his hair back in an upright small ponytail. His name was Iraka Yamano. Now he was way different than all the other teachers, cause once he found out about Naruto's tests being falsely failed, he goes and changes them to their rightful scores. He even doesn't accept that Naruto is the Kyuubi child and tells Naruto that he is himself, and nothing else. The blonde befriends another 3 friends from his class who are Ino Yamanaka, Hinata Hyuga, and Shino Aburame. He already has one people that he wants to go and drop dead from her loud voice, Sakura Haruno. She is the president of the Sasuke Fangirl Club, much to Sasuke's dismay. The infiltration missions Naruto undertakes are getting harder and harder with every mission, as they are now even average S-ranked. Sarutobi even has the Umbu do these missions as well to further increase their stealth abilities. Now Naruto takes a daily D-ranked, and every other day he takes a C-rank with either Kakashi, Yamato, or Enko if they are off Namake's training ground. Here we see Naruto facing off against Kakashi. Naruto has all his weights and seals on while Kakashi has nothing on but his regular ninja outfit. Right now the two are punching and kicking each other, and Naruto is getting most of the blows due to his weights. Kakashi punches Naruto in the head and then kicks him in the chest, sending him flying. While Naruto was flying, he took in a deep breath and shouted out Daitopa, sending a large mass of air shooting towards Kakashi, who was doing some hand seals for a jutsu of his own. Katon, Karyu Enden, Fire Dragon Flame Projectile. Out of Kakashi's mouth a giant jet of fire towards the wind jutsu and Naruto. The wind jutsu instantly died down and the fire stayed on course to Naruto. As the two jutsu met, Naruto was doing some quick hand signs and shouted out Suryuden no Jutsu, Water Dragon Projectile Jutsu. From the nearby lake a giant water dragon rose and headed for the flames, dosing them out. Just as the two jutsu met, Naruto and Kakashi were at it again with kicking and punching. Naruto landed a punch to Kakashi's stomach, then sweep his feet from under him, then spin kicked Kakashi away. Kakashi skidded to a stop and was panting slightly. Naruto was barely panting, but that's normal for him due to his large chakra pools. Let's end this with our most powerful jutsu, Naruto. Getting a nod from the blonde, Kakashi did a string of hand seals and held his right hand out, and a ball of lightning slowly appeared in it, and bolts of electricity were shooting out from his hand. Raikiri. Lightning Edge. Alright Kakashi, knees and let's see what you got. Naruto held out his hand and a wind started to pick up. The wind started encasing Naruto's hand. Naruto uses his left hand to grip his right wrist and shouts out Kazakiri. Wind Edge, when did you make that, Naruto-kun? Kakashi asked, astonished when he saw almost exact replica of his famous jutsu in his sensei's son's hand. Naruto just chuckled. I saw you use Raikiri before and it got me thinking. Why not make a jutsu just like Nizen's, and here is the result. Kazakiri is the wind version of your famous jutsu, and I actually have another one just like it in my arsenal. The blonde said with a smile and laughed at his Nizen's gawking face. Well, you can't really blame him. The person he looks as a little brother made not one but two variations of his famous jutsu. To say he was astonished would be an understatement. Well, Nizen, we going to do this or what? Chirped the young blonde as he lowered his hand, still having Kazakiri going and making it go even faster. When Naruto said that, Kakashi snapped out of it and said, Alright little bro, let's see whose is stronger. Then Kakashi started to charge with his Raikiri to his side. Naruto shot forward as well, and the distance between the two was getting shorter fast. Raikiri! Kazakiri! The two yelled out as they extended their arms out, and the two jutsu clashed against each other in a devastating deadlock. Neither jutsu would give, even though wind beats lightning. The lightning jutsu was made with more chakra and raw power, After 10 minutes to deadlock, the massive amounts of chakra alerted the third, Anko, Yamato, Sumambu, Asuma, and almost every Jonin in the nearby area. They were amazed at the struggle between the two jutsu. Again, after another 10 minutes and the rise of chakra, the two attacks finally overloaded, and they exploded violently. Everything within a 50-meter radius was caught in the blast. The watching ninja had to jump back from the blast radius. Anko, Yamato, Asuma, and the third all screamed out Naruto. Kakashi, as the dust started to clear the ground in the epicenter of the blast, was still pulsing with electricity from the Reikirian. The ground had huge cuts made by the winds from the Kazakiri. The dust finally settled and neither ninja and boy were seen. The group thought of the worst until they heard two low moans from the two opposite sides of the field. The third ordered a medic squad to find both the people and give them immediate care. With a hi, the medics went to find the two ninjas with Anko, Yamato, Asuma, and the other Jonin helping in the search. Several minutes later, Naruto was found under several trees cut up and releasing some discharge of electricity. His arm was bleeding badly and his stomach had a branch sticking out of it. To say he was in a bad shape would be like saying the devil was really good and Kami was really bad. When the trees were moved away and the ninja got to Naruto, he had finally passed out due to blood loss. At the same time as Naruto, Kakashi was found in no better condition, but at least he didn't have a stick coming out of his stomach, but instead it was lodged in his leg, piercing bone and muscle. He also was bleeding badly and cut up all over. He passed out from blood loss only a few seconds after Naruto did, and the two were taken to the hospital immediately. 4 days later in the hospital, Naruto and Kakashi were lying up in the same room, bandaged up from foot to neck. Naruto was already fully healed, but the doctors were keeping him here for rest. Naruto had made a clone secretly to go to the academy and tell Iruka-sensei that he was in the hospital for a while from a training accident with Kakashi. Now we find the two Baka ninjas talking to each other. Right now the two were talking about Naruto's two variations of Kakashi's Raikiri, Lightning Edge. Naruto told Kakashi that he made both Kazakiri, Wind Edge, and Kaizuki, Fire Blade. Kazakiri surrounds Naruto's right hand in multiple layers of swirling wind chakra that with each layer the layer under it starts spinning faster. The jutsu is so silent that it only makes the sound of a regular breeze, making it a true assassination jutsu of almost SS rank, but was made as AS ranked assassination jutsu. Kaizuki holds the hand itself was open, like it was going to hold a ball of some sorts. Then all of a sudden a red light will start to form in Naruto's right hand. After about 3 seconds, the ball would take on a shape. It would look like fire that he was holding. But this fire would be superheated and very compact. Then a ring of fire would form at his feet underneath the blonde. The Kaizuki is very powerful. The chakra to be used in the attack would actually be seen thanks to the large amounts that would be used in it. This jutsu was also a S-ranked assassination jutsu cause it would only sound. To say Kakashi was amazed at the ideas would be an understatement. To think that this 7-year-old boy who he thought of as a little brother can make such powerful jutsu. Naruto even made 2 clones with each using the jutsu to show Kakashi. The Kaizuki was a very compact ball of fire chakra that seemed to even melt the tile underneath Naruto's clones slightly from the heat. After another few days of rest, the two were discharged and went home for some well-deserved Rio rest. Kakashi was then called out on another assignment, while Naruto just got back to training. Now is the time for Naruto's yearly exam. Naruto Uzumaki, age 7, male, birthday October 10th, blood type B, skills, sealing equals near seal master level. A couple more months of studying from his father's books and analyzing Anko's curse seal to remove it, or at least make it so she can use the power behind it without the bad effects of it, then he will become a true seal master like his father and godfather were and are. Stealth equals near Jiraiya's level. Jiraiya is actually one of the best stealth ninja in the world, so to be near his level is great, and it is all thanks to his missions into the Umbu HQ to improve their security measures. Reflexes equals low to mid Umbu. Speed equals mid to high Umbu. Strength equals mid to high Umbu. These 3 are like this from all his physical training and seals that make him push harder. And since he has to turn into a half-demon, he wants to be in the best condition before he does so. That is why he is pushing his human forms to its max. Chakra control equals mid to high Jonin, With his ever-growing chakra pools, he has an army of almost 400 clones work to their chakra's end in increasing his control, because once he turns half-demon, all that control will be needed to control his demonic chakra, powers, and senses. Chakra sensing equals high jonin to low Anbu. Kenjutsu equals high chunin to low jonin. Ninjutsu equals mid to high jonin. Thanks to Naruto knowing jutsu from all 5 main elements and also working on the sub-element of ice, he has almost a whole library of jutsu in his head. And also with his Kazakiri and Kaizoku being both S-ranked, he is famous within the ninja ranks. Genjutsu equals high chunin to low jonin. With the help of Yamato, Anko, and Kakashi using multiple genjutsus on his clones, he is learning fast how to disable them all. And also with Naruto's thrive to be like and even better than his father, he wants to be a well-rounded ninja. Taijutsu equals mid to high jonin. With the gravity seal and resistance seals, he has perfected his own style, and is going to start the basics of his mother's and father's styles. Weapon forging / repairing equals master bordering grandmaster. You already know what is going on with this from up above. Intelligence, strategist and tactician, equals close to the capabilities of Shikaku Nara, Shikamaru's father and part of the famous Ino Shikacho squad. Medical jutsu equals high chunin to low jonin. This field can't really grow that much in Konoha cause he already has most of the jutsu down, and will need Tsunade's guidance to improve further so he can get the more powerful medical jutsu that Rei no down, since she barely knows a thing about what is needed for them to work. Poison creation / concocting equals poison expert. Thanks to the herb garden and Anko, Naruto became a poison expert in no time like Anko is. The two even are creating more effective poisons for Anko and the interrogation department to use. Accuracy equals hunter ninja. It's that title because the hunter ninja are the best at aim in the ninja department cause they train to capture or kill targets by either killing them head on or using projectiles to either set them in a death-like state or hit a vital organ and kill them instantly. Chakra capacity equals near or at Kage level. It's this high because of all the training and also the seal being torn again, allowing more of Rei's chakra through and converted. Survival skills equals high jonin to low Anbu. Naruto and Anko still go out into the forest of death time and time again to explore the whole place, dodging giant creatures and beasts. Missions, S-ranked 5, now that Naruto put up highly sensitive chakra sensing seals that also connect to a highly advanced set of chakra identifiers, so only Anbu members, interrogators, mainly Anko and Ibiki, and the Hokage can move freely in the HQ. He was told to stop the missions. A-ranked 14, B-ranked 5, C-ranked 23, D-ranked 132. Now we see Naruto panting on his family training furled, holding a weird weapon in his hand. This certain weapon is a kunai with 3 prongs at the end of it. On the handle is a slip of paper with the kanji of right on it. This kunai is the kunai for the 4th Hokage's world-famous jutsu, the Hirishin no Jutsu. Naruto will not stop training these upcoming years until he has mastered his second bloodline and showed the world to the next coming of the Yellow Flash. But he, instead of his father's title, he will instead go under a name almost the same as his father's. He will make himself known as. Thanks for watching this video. You really enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below.